Check one, check one.
Check. Is this thing on? Can you hear me?
Hey, there he is.
Can you see me? Can you feel me?
Yo, yo, yo. Whatever happened to the Wakanda bounce? First got radio, first got Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, ready to guy.
What's up? Let me get myself together.
Man, that's what we're for. That's what we're here for. 10 minutes. 10 minutes before the actual show starts, we come on in, try to get it together, release that pressure, and say the hellos and how you doing.
Yeah. Hello.
Good morning. All right, I think the tech is working. Good to go. Cool. Everything's in place. Right on.
I think so.
Michelle Moreno gives us a good morning. Good morning to you. Appreciate you coming in. This is that means YouTube is on. Let's see what Facebook is doing.
Facebooking.
Man, Restream caught me up again this morning.
Boy.
Days are numbered.
Count your days.
Man. Yeah, good morning, y'all. Good morning. We're just trying to wake up here, get up, get some good mornings and hellos and how you doing is going on before we start the show. Finally getting Chris Baby Boy Bowling back on the show. Can't wait for that.
Baby boy.
Need to know what's going on with these millions.
Man, millions.
Over at MX.
Man. Speaking of Baby Boy, you been seeing Tyrese lately in the news? I know.
Yeah.
One of your Cali partners.
Yeah, man. On there getting emotional on radio shows and stuff.
Man.
What happens, man?
So
you holding it all in now. When you get about 40, 45, 50.
Just let it go.
Just be like, man, I'm tired of all this.
Man. So I came across a theory and I think it might be true, man. And they're saying that basically he was not acting in Baby Boy. Like he is Jody and Jody is him.
That's cool.
You see, recently he was on $1 million worth of game. He said he actually does not like Ving Rhames because of that role. He'll see him to this day. Like, yeah.
I wouldn't either. That was rough.
Yeah. I mean, it's some people just are just attached to certain roles. My mom told me to this day she doesn't like Danny Glover because the role he played in Color Purple.
Man.
Mister?
Man. Yeah.
People say he played Mr. Too Good. There's some Mr. in him there somewhere. Some
Mr. in all of us, I'm quite sure. Michelle Moreno gives us a good morning. You need some Mr. this morning yourself.
Man, hey.
Judy Prinzler gives us a good morning. Appreciate you coming in. Pops gives us a good Wednesday morning. And mad love from Las Vegas. Pop's favorite day, Wednesday. That's what's up.
Hump day.
Keister gives us a what's up Wednesday. What's happening to you? Sue Kester Hagen gives us a good morning. Appreciate you guys coming in early this morning. Before the 7 o'clock start, so we can, just kind of be just loosely say hello and
let me know. Like we haven't really asked, like how do y'all feel about these opening hellos, dude? We enjoy them. We kind of help us get our mojo and get into the swing of things, loosen the shoulders a little bit before the show. But just folly for you all. Let us know.
I was thinking about, because this is such a conversation that we have, that starts at 7 o'clock. It's news, but it's also a conversation that we have, and I always think about, how you just walk into a room and just start having a conversation, just jump into topics with people. You kind of always, hi, how you doing? How you been? Well, how's the family? So that was one theory behind it.
Is that small talk? Is this the small talk segment?
Yeah, but if small talk got a bad rap, but small talk is a warm up to big talk. So
yeah, I think this having a strong small talk game has its place.
Very true, very true. Sean McCarthy gives us a good morning. Appreciate you. I was getting ready to say about that too. Oh, If you guys have signed up for the newsletter, I don't know how many in the chat right now has signed up for the newsletter, but please do so. And there's a survey on there in the at the top. We would love you to fill out. It's basically a kind of a questionnaire about what topics are important to you. So
Yeah.
we're always wondering about that. That's gonna be an ongoing question because we know that that changes all the time. But yeah, if you would get the newsletter and fill that hit that button and fill out the survey there so we can kind of know what's going on.
Mhm, mhm.
Ma-
And
ma-
also
Mhm.
kind of putting the filler out there, we are stepping and inching closer to putting out our own news. That is something that we're going towards, and we've been, talking about the content creators camp, talking about people interested in writing. So, I just kind of plant the seed out there. If anyone is interested in, not just talking about some news that might be on your radar, but if you want to write some things,
Yeah, yeah,
hit us
come
up.
on with us on that because we definitely we've been doing some stuff as far as our original news is concerned, but we need to expand in a big way,
Oh yeah.
and we like to expand with citizen journalists. So we're actually going to put some stuff out there about a program that we're putting together that'll help people that aren't journalists, but you got a little talent writing.
Hmm.
Yeah, and you're close to a subject, you have some coaches to help you continue to put whatever it is that you can write into a journal, article form so that it can be put out as news. So if you're interested in that, let us know too. Definitely hit us up at First Sky Omaha Gmail and sign up to the newsletter. I'll just put that link in the chat. Sign up to the newsletter, hit that survey button as well, and let us know what some of the subjects are that are important to you.
Yeah. Yes.
Magic
Especially
Miller
some.
Jenkins in the chat says this feels like a family chat with news. I like it. Yep,
Okay.
yep.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's the purpose. That's the goal.
Yeah.
Sean McCarthy says love them. Sort of feels like one of those meet the band VIP packages for concert tickets.
Okay, okay, the meet and greet.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
Pop says, yeah, this is the icebreaker. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
I just thought about it. Some of the stuff that I really enjoy from the John Stewart's show. What's the name of his show?
Ooh, put me on the spot, man.
John
Put me
Stewart.
on
Yeah,
the
why
spot.
am I blanking on that? John Stewart.
Brain fart.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
John
yeah,
Stewart.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think
Daily?
Daily Show. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, the Daily Show.
Um,
No longer with Jon Stewart. I think it's just the Daily Show now.
no, John Stewart's hosting these days.
Is
Um,
he?
yeah, he's back. No, what was the
Trevor Noah.
Trevor Noah was the one who started what I'm about to talk about though, which is they started showing clips of before the show, him talking to the audience,
Oh yeah, yeah,
warming up,
yeah.
and even like after the show, and John Stewart continued to do that too. I don't know if he started that. I noticed it when Trevor Noah was doing it.
Mhm.
But yeah, those are always some of the interesting stuff because they're just off the cuff. They're not really there's no script, so they just are talking about stuff, and it's pretty. Yeah, Daily Show. I don't know why I blanked on that. Who
Yeah,
does it?
yeah, like
Our
Daily Show.
whole thing is like the
A
Daily
little
Show
bit.
model.
A little bit. A little bit. Just giving them the juice.
Pop says he took the one day a week. No, I'm sorry. Pop says love the newsletter and took the survey. Appreciate you, Pop.
Okay, nice, nice, nice.
Matthew Miller Jenkins just subscribe. Appreciate you. Sean McCarthy said he hosts one day a week, usually on Monday. Okay, I knew he was back some kind of way.
Okay.
So yeah, shout out to John Stewart, man. He's started a model that is continuing on to CNN now, which we'll talk about.
Yeah, some Omaha connections.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, really appreciate everybody that comes in, gives us the hellos. How you doing this morning? Before we get
Yeah,
started, got
yeah,
about a minute before we go ahead and do that hard start. But thank you so much. I do feel the same way that you guys feel. It's the icebreaker. It's like talking to the fam, warming up, and getting into the headspace of being able to take in some information and really do something with it.
yeah, man. Get on top of some things.
Yeah. How you feeling this morning, buddy?
Man, I'm all right. I'm all right. Feeling good.
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Feeling good. What's on top of mine? I don't
Well,
know. Not
top of
sure.
mind for me is the start of the show. So let's go ahead and
Hey,
get it rolling.
top of mind, top of hour.
That's
Let's
right.
go
Top of hour, 7 o'clock. If you believe in the concept of time, a fresh edition of First Guy Omaha in the morning,
in the morning.
happening now. Good morning. Good morning. Get ready to chime in. This is a fresh edition of First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
I'll be myself. He's Buddy the God, and we're here with you, chat chimers, ghost listeners, and monitoring spirits. We
Yeah, that's
appreciate everybody joining us today on this. What is this? Wednesday, the 28th of August.
come on, man. It's
Coming
hump
up,
day.
man, hump day, but coming to the end of the month here already, too, man. You know what that
Yeah.
means around here?
Yeah.
Rent.
Ooh, my back. My back.
Nothing going on but the rent.
Man.
Appreciate you guys joining us this morning. We have a special guest coming on in this morning. Chris Baby Boy Bowling from Flatwater Free Press will be here to talk about a few things.
Baby boy.
Yeah, he was supposed to come on last Monday, I believe it was. Uh-oh, I got that problem again. Last Monday, I believe it was,
Uh-oh.
but it was
Oh, that's
my
my
bad.
bad.
He popped back on by
Yeah,
himself.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah, okay.
all right, check you out, camera. And that was my bad for messing up the dates there. But he's on today. Can't wait to speak to him about a few things that's in the news that we've been talking about. And there's a lot going on in the community. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna quit talking so we can jump into some community news. We really appreciate everybody that threw stuff in the Friends of First Sky Omaha and been conversating over there. It's where the conversation happens when we're not live.
Man.
Friends of First Sky Omaha is a group page on Facebook. If you didn't know, join that and continue the conversation. It's kind of like the bulletin page, little updates on not just news but events, haps, all kinds of stuff. So
All that. Yeah, yeah,
definitely check
yeah.
it out.
Yeah. So really appreciate, everybody who has been following that. Make sure you tell a friend and tell a friend. Stay up on top of everything Omaha related, especially Omaha East, Omaha North and South related. Big shout out. So make sure y'all tap in and thank you to everybody who's continuing the conversation. Again, a lot of things being discussed. One of the big things on our radar is this conversation about local businesses. Somebody's calling out a gas station at 60th and Sorensen, and a few other people have chimed up to kind of reiterate and corroborate the story. And this is kind of going along with what we're putting out the call for local journalists, because this is a story that won't make it to Omaha Royal Herald, won't make it to at least KETV, at least we haven't seen it. But here it is, a story, a conversation in our community, and we should have our voices heard about this. And actually, this kind of to me signifies what can happen when we share our own stories and with each other, and we kind of speak to each other. So again, big shout out to everybody chiming up on that conversation. We'll actually be talking about that a little later on. But again, local businesses being rude, but not just being rude, maybe some uh, possibly even illegal business practices in the community. So again, definitely some things to talk about and look out for. Also, speaking of looking out for something, again, we kind of alluded to it. Big shout out to Omaha native Amber Ruffin, making some huge headway again, announcing that she will be launching a new show on CNN alongside with the other comedian Roy Woods, and I think a few other people on the team. But again, big news. Big shout out to Amber Ruffin, the new show on CNN, and I believe Max coming very soon. You can definitely check out that trailer on Friends of First Sky. Definitely looking dope, looking exciting, looking entertaining. Have I got
And,
news for you?
and looking like
CNN.
news. It's gonna be on CNN, which is really interesting.
Yeah, man, it is. It is interesting. We were talking about the Daily Show, but that was Comedy Central, kind of fringe entertainment. Kind of off the beaten path network. CNN that's main news. Main news. So yeah, very interesting. But big shout out to Amber Ruffin, always making us proud. Always excited to see what she does. Also making us proud. Shout out to the opening of the headquarters, as we like to call it. Again, Scooters finally reopening after a year of being closed. Big shout out to the whole Young family making moves. Yeah, the whole family making moves, man. So again, shout out to everybody who again frequents the headquarters, as we're calling it, just as we're talking about that camera coming into the chat. Yeah, we're thinking about you. Thinking about you. Also, big shout out to our partners over at the OEAAs. Those nominations are still open. And yes, we are partners with the OEAAs. Big shout out to Doug and the whole crew over there getting down as always. And again, this is for all arts. This is not just performing arts. If you have any visual artists, any fashion designers, any screenwrites, anybody who is really connected to the arts, definitely feel free to go ahead and go to that link, go to that website and put down the names of who you would like to see. I think there are some parameters of they having to have some work done within the last year or so. But again, if they meet those parameters, speak up, because again, you can't be mad at the OEA boards for talking about artists that they don't know. Again, they don't know all the artists. They can only know, about the artists that come into their sphere of influence and just awareness. But again, if you have an artist on your radar that you feel like should be recognized, this is an opportunity to do so. Paul always talks about the importance of having local award shows in the community in which you live, recognizing the work that you are doing, on a high level. And this is definitely something on a high level. I believe the last one was at the Holland.
Yeah, yeah, this one is gonna
Mhm.
be at the Admiral, so it's gonna in honor of, John Houston, who
Nice.
helped start the OEAAs and also who helped start Sokol Auditorium. We're gonna have it in the spot the Sokol Auditorium was this year, so that's a shout out to John Houston, the founder of one of the founders of OEAAs.
Yeah, man.
And again, one more word about that too, just, like Buddy said, like, n they're not gonna know who these artists are that need to be nominated if it's not for us, the public, who puts in the nomination. So you see anybody who you enjoy going to their shows or going and checking things out, or knowing any friends, family members that have been putting out some work this past year, definitely get on the site there. I put the link in the chat and go ahead and hit that and go there and nominate those people for awards. It is a very important thing, I feel like, to build a scene to have an award show.
Yeah, it's an open forum. It's not like you're picking from a list of names. There's areas to put whoever you feel should be recognized. So yeah, there you go.
They
Even
don't
if
have
you
a
want,
they don't got a podcast category yet, but when they
yeah,
do,
yeah. Hey,
when they do, right, right.
So, but yes, definitely big shout outs to the OEAs. Also, shout out to our partners over at One Omaha. If I'm not mistaken, the Ground Up Speaker Series jumped off yesterday. Brother
Yes, sir.
Anthony Rogers Wright showing up and showing out again, as camera in the chat. Perfect timing. She says we had an amazing kickoff to the From the Ground Up. All the panelists were amazing. Shouts out to Anthony Rogers Wright for bringing it when it comes to environmental justice. Big time, big time. So yeah, thank you for that recap on that, camera. We'll love to hear from anybody who made it, and definitely would love to hear your take on the situation. If you're in the chat, brother Anthony Rogers, right? Again, another friend of First Sky. So yeah, definitely going down at the Benson Theater. So yeah, let us know when the next one is coming up, and we'll look out. We'll look out. Also, to wrap up the community news, shout out to brother Bill King, bossing with us. Apparently, he hosted along with Trevin Brooks, which somebody was just asking about in the channel on Monday, a meeting about the iHub, the innovation hub that's supposed to be coming to North Omaha as a part of a LB 1024. Apparently, that went down yesterday. So again, you see the flyer on the page or on the screen, but did anybody make it to that? Again, I didn't really hear about this. Definitely would have been something we would chime up about and talk about. So hadn't quite been on my radar, but if anybody else heard about it, went to it, would definitely love to hear your take on it, because this is definitely something that we've been looking out for. Still following the money in North Omaha, trying to figure out what's going on. So again, the Innovation Hub will definitely be a part of that situation. Again, just bringing some innovation, bringing some economic development to the community.
I'm anxious to hear what Councilwoman Juanita Johnson had to say. It looks like she was going to be there too. So yeah, if anybody was there, if anybody showed up to that, please let us know. We'd love to get a
Man,
report from you on that.
big time, big time, big time. So again, that's pretty much our local news, community news, as always. Internally with First Sky Omaha, I see a few people have already this morning subscribed to the newsletter. So again, big shout out to everybody who has already subscribed to the weekly wrap. That's still coming out every Friday, so look out for that. Also, we do have shirts for sale still as well. Kind of a tongue twister, but yeah, tap in with us again. There are some shirts that are going to some great causes. Still, brother Hassani Lee, as you see, fighting the towers, public housing, fight the tower shirt still available. And as we've been mentioning, a portion of these proceeds will go to brother Hassani Lee and the Underwood Tenants Group, not just for Underwood and OHA tenants, but again, fighting for the rights for all tenants who are facing slumlords and just unsafe, unhealthy living conditions. So again, it's still public housing, fight the towers, support a good cause, and also, support what we're doing as well. So again, we appreciate everybody who's already copped that. Paul B.
Yep,
We'll see
yep.
you.
Just want to make mention. I had a meeting with Julian Young. Shout out to Julian Young Business Advisors, and they got a bank now. You know, the Young Bank
Yeah,
is
yeah.
open. We were able to open up an account so that we're going to attach a PayPal link to it so that you can be able to donate to the cause directly. If you already got a shirt, you want to keep donating, or if you just don't want the shirt, just want to donate, we'll have a place that we can collect donations for the Underwood Tenants Group coming up as well. So shout out to the Young Bank for being a part of that and hosting that. And I'm hoping to develop a relationship with the young bank in order to continue to do some of these things because we always have a lot of things we're trying to raise some funds for in our community. And what better way to do that? A lot of our community doesn't trust like GoFundMe and stuff like that. So shout out to the young bank for being a part of opening these things up. So part of the proceeds from these shirts will go there too. We got one more shirt that we are pushing as well. We have a limited edition Sky Re collaboration shirt for
Hmm.
Sky Omaha. You might have been seeing us wearing this around. There's some of these available too, and part of the proceeds go to that Underwoods Tennis Group as well. So hit us up on First Sky Omaha at Gmail. We will have a link for you soon to make it a little bit easier for you to buy those shirts. But in the
Yeah.
meantime, hit us up on the email address, and we'll get back to you and get that to you. So
Yeah. Also, if you subscribe to the newsletter, you can cop merch there as well. So
hey,
yeah,
there you
yeah,
go,
yeah, yeah.
newsletter,
Yep,
hook it
yep,
up.
yep, 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 yep.
Appreciate you, Mama God. Gives us a good morning. I saw Cameron give us a good morning too. Thanks for coming on in. Rose Review says hit the like button. Please like and subscribe on YouTube
Yeah,
if you
man.
would. Appreciate that. Yep, Cameron, we'll definitely get you some shirts. Appreciate you coming in. And the video is going to be on the website soon. I'm glad to hear that. So you guys recorded the speaker
Nice,
event from at Benson Theater, and we'll be able to check that out on One Omaha's website. That works.
nice, nice, nice.
Love
Yeah,
that.
glad to hear that. Glad, looking forward to it. Looking forward to it.
Most deaf.
But again, let's go ahead and pivot into the news that we're going to talk about today because there are some things and some headlines of our own in the community, but also making its way to news. I definitely want to talk about a couple missing persons, just kind of let you know and be aware of what's going on. Again, we have a missing elderly man and also a missing youth. So we'll be talking about that a little later on. Also, something that again we should talk more about following the money, kind of beyond just governmental, just our everyday lives. Again, the Nebraska Examiner just reported an article on a national level. Apparently, U.S. credit debt is continuing to rise, as well as other housing and other costs going up. And I just want to talk really quickly about some financial things, also in light of some local stories. Two Omaha housing projects getting $4 million in federal disaster recovery fund. So there's definitely money out there, but who is it going to? Is really a big question. And again, what are we doing to make it through what looks like a pretty hard time economically, especially in light of some of the numbers that we recently got about North and South Omaha in particular. Economic development still a big topic of conversation. I definitely would love to jump into that with all of you. Also, speaking of economics, it looks like Nebraska prisons is having a little issue with their economics after an audit. Looks like there's definitely some areas of savings, but again, in light of some actually somebody posted on Friends of asking if NSP had no AC. So again, if there's no AC and they're talking about cutting back in Nebraska prisons, where are they talking about cutting back? Is always the question. Still one of the most overcrowded prison systems in the nation, and not looking like it's going in the right direction anytime soon. So definitely want to talk about what's going on with Nebraska prisons.
Mm.
Also, something to look out for as we've been talking about Chris Baby Boy Bowling coming through, looking what's going on with the Malcolm X. Shout out to our partners over at the Flatwater Free Press. Again, the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation. Speaking of economic development, getting a large grant from the state as a part of those economic recovery funds. But what's next for, again, one of the most historic sites in North Omaha? The birthplace of El Haj Malik El Shabazz, aka Malcolm X, Malcolm Little. Again, what's up with the future? Definitely looking forward to catching up with Chris Baby Boy Bowling. And yeah, looking at the future, man. Beautiful sight. But where will they go next is the question. So again, that's all that and more throughout the show. Of course, if there's something on your radar that we're not talking about, feel free to drop into the chat. Let your mind be free. Let your voice be heard. In the meantime, between time, it's about 15 minutes into the hour. Paul B,
Yep.
what's the word?
Let's take a quick break and we'll come back and jump into some news. And then again, like I said, stick around because we got Chris Baby Boy Bowling from Flatwater Free Press coming on in as a special guest today. Get your questions ready for him. I don't know if you've been keeping up, but I highly suggest you do. They're doing some pretty good in-depth articles over there on some things that got to do with us in our neighborhoods, East Side stuff. So
East
shout
side.
out to I always like to mention that Chris Bowling is one. You know, when there's reporters in town that are trying to do right, I always want to shout him out. So shout out to Chris Bowling. He's kind of really over the years have developed a relationship, especially with the black community, to be a trusted journalist. And so it's a big asset over there at Flatwater Free Press for them to have him And when if Chris Bowen is writing something about the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation, I'm ready to read it. So I highly
Yeah.
suggest you go to Flatwater Free Press, take a look at that article, and we'll talk to him about that as well. In the meantime, between time, we'll take a quick break and come back and jump into some news. You're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
My name is Paul B. He's Buddy to God. Stay tuned. We'll be right back, y'all. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Want to give a shout out to Drunk Ship Coffee, who is a
Hey.
constant supporter of the channel. Go to drunkshipcoffee.com and order your beans. Man, these beans are off the hook. They got that light roast, medium roast, which is what I'm understanding. I'm learning so much more about the coffee situation. Medium roast is really kind of where it's at. We kind of burn our beans when we got that dark going on, but some of us developed a taste for that. But this is kind of in the way and in the tradition of the way that it's done in Ethiopia, which is the birthplace of coffee. A Drunk Ship Coffee has sourced beans from one farm in Ethiopia, and man, quality stuff. So go ahead and go to drunkshipcoffee.com, hit them up. Family owned, black owned coffee company, trying to do the right thing. So man, hit them up and support. A lot of people who in the chat have already ordered from Drunk Ship say it's bomb coffee. So I appreciate everybody who's already purchased, and I appreciate Drunk Ship for being a supporter
Yeah, man.
supporter of the show. So if you
Real
would
work.
like to be a supporter of the show as well, let us know. You can always hit us up, firstsky@gmail.com. We have some packages available in order for us to step into the game of kind of getting the word out and dealing with the sponsors. So appreciate that. In the meantime, between time, also don't forget to check out Pop's page as well.
Man.
Paul B. Allen 3. He's got some releases that I think he said that the one we just played is going to be one of his instrumental albums coming out too. So yeah,
Yeah.
keep up in. Pop's my hero right now, dropping all kinds of music, getting me back in the game myself.
Hey,
So that's what's
Paul,
up.
it's never too late, man. It's never too late. It's never too late to get back on them chops, man. Dust off the old keyboard. Get
You
down.
got it.
Get
You
down.
got it. Hey, in the chat, real quick, Mama God says Senator McKinney was a guest on Roland Martin Uncensored on the Black Star Network yesterday. He spoke on Nebraska felon voting rights situations.
Man.
I appreciate I missed that one, but I appreciate you letting us know about that. We'll have to go back online and try to find that interview. Shout out to
Yeah.
Roland Martin. Yeah, man, black news, black media. That's what's
That's
happening.
what it's about. That's what it's about, and that's what we're here to do. Actually, that's kind of what's on my heart before we jump into today's news, because I want to start with this local story, this local business story,
Word.
and really talk about where we're coming from. We've reiterated it, several times here on the show, but this is just one of those grand examples of what really our intention and vision of what First Sky Omaha is and could be, as far as again news that's important to us in our communities, which always doesn't make the mainstream, if you will, affiliate CBS, NBC news networks. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. And this is one that we definitely have to talk about. Again, we're coming from the area of being artists who are from the community, of the community, love our community. And we didn't really, it took me a while, even though I went to school for journalism, to be like, I want to be in news. But it was
Hmm.
the information, the sharing of information and having conversations was what really stuck to me. I was like, okay, I can get with this, and this is definitely something that we should be talking about, information we should be sharing, and how we should be approaching things that are happening in our communities. Big shout out to Anjali and the Timeless again, but you might know her of Timeless fame, gracing the stages and shutting stages down. But apparently she's looking to shut some businesses down, maybe, and calling them out. This time, particularly gas station on 60th and Sorensen, and actually one on 24th and Cumming. This is from Anjali and actually Sister Liz, Lisbeth Arellano, who's with us at the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation back in the Mind and Soul days. But again, they're teaming up to call out some businesses, and this is something that I would like to hear more from. If anybody has any experiences that are similar to this, especially with these two gas stations, definitely chime up. We're going to read a Facebook post really quickly, and they're calling for a boycott. Says we got to start somewhere. Either you with how they treat us, mostly women, or you ain't. Anjali says we're officially boycotting the gas stations on 60th and Sorensen and 24th and Cumming. If there are any others to add to the list, add them. People from outside of our community, city, and state come in with whatever resource allowed them to come, and then they treat us like we don't belong here rudely and disrespectfully. Among various offenses, they have suggested that women come upstairs with them to pay for the items that they put on the counter.
Mm,
They have no concern for customer service. They are rude, specifically to black people. They have made mistakes about which pump to turn on and locked a person in the store and called the police when the person came in to straighten it out. This is someone that they knew personally. Meanwhile, who from our community wants to collaborate to own a gas station? We don't need to go down this road with people from outside of our community. And I want to add to this, there was a gas station that was brought to my attention as far as price gouging.
mhm.
Again, charging, 75 cents to a dollar more on items. And, some people in the community might look at that like, why is this that much? But might not make a fuss about it, might not even complain. But again, all of these are business practices that we as a community should not accept. And I'm glad that people within the community are stepping up, speaking out, and this again is something that probably won't make KETV, probably won't make Channel 3, Fox News. But this is news in our community, and this is something that we should be talking about.
Yeah, I don't
Again,
wanna mention them no more. It's gonna hit First Guy Omaha News. That's where
there
we
you go.
get
There
talked.
you go. There you go. There you go. So again, where I want this conversation to go is for all of us to walk away with the knowledge of, okay, if there's a business in our communities, in our neighborhoods, that are price gouging. You see that soda is advertised as $1.25, but somehow, some way, when you go check out, it's 2.30, 2.50.
Mm,
How is that happening? And some people might look at it as you know, small. But over years, after they price gouged $1 here, $2 there, how much more money are they making from our community?
mm.
And we're talking about the most vulnerable communities.
Yep, man. You see the Arizona iced tea, I'd be like, "God, say 99 cent on the can."
So again, Better Business Bureau, Omaha Chamber. Who do you call? What do you do?
First Guy Omaha. Call First Guy Omaha. This and put it on friends of. This is what happened. Somebody posted that. Somebody reposted it. I saw it reposted it on friends of, and the word starts to spread. It's how this works. And I've been at this gas station a couple times myself and have sped off a few times. Like, you know what? I ain't never coming here again. And for a few different reasons, being treated rudely inside the joint, the electronics being bad on as far as the cars are concerned, or trying to put your card in the spot to get gas. There was a couple times I thought I put my card in there and nothing happened. It felt like they was just right. They was just taking my information, and I
Mm,
and still couldn't get no gas out of it. It was just like this, and then of course nobody wants to come and help fix anything or acknowledge anything's wrong. Yeah, yeah. I made it personal. It's funny that came up because I made a personal decision myself. I was like, I don't care. I'll go up to 72nd. I'm not even gonna sweat this gas station no more. And then here we are a couple months later, and Angelique's got a story about it. So yeah, I think that this is a great platform to be able to talk about some of the businesses that are in our neighborhoods
mhm.
that are not black owned, especially the ones that are they're from people from elsewhere that are coming here and like Angelique is saying, treating people rudely and not just rudely, but like really disrespectfully, messed up.
And it seems like actually I'm looking at it. It might be the same business in general. MP
Mm,
Mart and Mega Saver.
mm,
Liz, because the business that I'm thinking about, somebody else in this chat or in this Facebook post comment section mentioned the one I'm thinking about is 30th and Martin. Used to be a BP, and I believe now it's is right across the street from the Walmart or a
mm,
Walgreens on 30th and Martin. As far as price gouging, and it's very interesting that Lisbeth does point out. Again, from our community, she says we need to investigate their relationship to one another so that we don't just move our business to another one of their stores. So far, it is MP Mart and Mega Saver. This is my view, but I'm willing to support what we come up with. There are several locations. I think a protest is fine to bring awareness to what these guys are doing and that they are posing a direct threat to the women in our city. So, one, women not feeling safe to shop in those stores is definitely a
Mhm.
concern. But
Yeah.
two, if again they are price gouging and Lord knows what else in our communities needs to be addressed. And if we don't address it, who will?
We'll definitely talk more about this, have more of a discussion on the second hour. If you guys stick with us, we'll talk a little bit more deeply on this after the 8 o'clock hour. In the chat right now, Miss Erica Felt in the chat. Good morning. Says that the gas station on 30th and Ames used to be black owned. Not sure if he still owns it. It's a good question, and it kind of leads into the question that the comment that Maggie Miller Jenkins is saying. I'd love to follow up where would be a good place to spend our money, all for boycotting the people that harm us, but we need to pair that with the healing of where else to pour into,
Yep. Yep.
which is a great comment. Yeah, definitely with that. So this is the kind of the first iteration of this. They're calling for a boycott, and they're saying, let's tell our stories about what's happening here, and it does bear the next question: where can we go? Where are there different places in the community that we are supporting our own community in order to frequent, and can we put that in place of where the place we're trying to get away from? So yeah, I appreciate that very much.
Hmm.
Also, yeah. Also, oh, Michael Watts in the chat says need a black chamber of commerce. I do believe is that there's a couple organizations that are trying to do that kind of work. So yeah, I believe that too. I think there should be a bigger situation where there's a kind of a conglomerate of businesses in our neighborhoods that are local and that are run by people in our neighborhoods that that we can kind of keep the money in that neighborhood by frequenting and build and also build more out. We there's still deserts of places to buy food, news, all kinds of all kinds of
Man,
deserts still in
man.
our neighborhoods. So there's opportunities all over the place to do that. So yeah, feel that.
Yeah. So to kind of wrap this up, there will be a call to action and an opportunity to actually speak to the people leading the charge in this situation. Shout out to Brother Sherman Wells, who says that this Thursday, tomorrow at 6 p.m., there will be a live discussion about neighborhood stores and why we need to own and control our own neighborhood stores. Um, pardon so. This discussion will be led by singer and songwriter Anjali Mitchell and our neighborhood business brother Myron Pierce, who does business consulting and helping people get their businesses in order with Fix the Pond. So again, big shout out to Myron Pierce, who does a lot
On
in
the
the
pond.
community. Yeah, on the pond. Thank you,
Mhm.
thank you. So yeah, doing a lot in the community, and this is definitely one of the reasons why we need to own the pond, because you see what happens when we don't.
Yep. Brother Pierce, my brother mine was on Monday, and we definitely gonna reach out to him and bring him on the show. He
Oh yeah, big
made
time.
mention of that.
Yeah.
Heather Williams in the chat. Good morning. Says the gas station on 30th and 30th is no longer black owned. Miss Erica Felt says, I'm sorry, Kimberly Snipes says the gas station on 60th, just south of Ames, used to be black owned. Not sure if it still is.
Hmm.
Um, Also, she says Heather Williams says the good stop across from 30th and Ames is a Casey's.
Okay.
Okay. Marla Harris in the chat. Good morning. Says I go to Quick Trip on 72nd. The employees are always nice to me up there. Yeah, that's kind of my go-to as well. Quick Trip on 72nd. They seem to be cool there. I really don't like all that police presence they be having up there all the time. But
Well, yeah, there's that.
yeah,
And plus, you're talking about 72nd. Like we're talking about in our communities. If
I mean,
if I live,
72nd is our community. I mean, we can't rule that out.
yeah, but I'm saying if I live on 16th, I'm not trying to drive to 72nd to get some gas.
That's what I'm saying.
If I live on 30th, I'm not trying to drive all the way up Ames just to get some good service.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that. That's the problem, though. That's the problem, though. I mean, that's the problem. That's the reason why, like Maggie Miller Jenkins is saying, we got to find somewhere else because we boycott the one on 60th, then we are going up to 72nd next.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
I don't know. If Julian's listening, man, it might be time to open up a gas station across some scooters. It used to be the Phillips.
Hey,
It's a space right there.
there you go. Or anybody else, and
Right, right,
we
right,
can get
right.
with Julian on it, man. That's a great idea, actually. Needs to sew that whole corner up. We gotta talk about that
Man,
little corner in the first place, headquarters.
hey,
Yeah,
access to the interstate right there, major thoroughfare,
Young
30th and
Bank.
Ames. Come on,
Stop
man.
stop and pull your money out the ATM from Young Bank and keep on rolling.
Alright, get you some coffee, cup of joe, hit the
Man,
road.
Miss Erica said, Boogie had a tweaker pull a knife on him when he got out of the car trying to get money from him from
Where?
where? Yeah, where was that? Where did that happen at?
Man, be careful out here.
Please. Yeah, I appreciate everybody, like I said, and the people that commented on Friends of First Sky Omaha. This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about right here.
Yeah, yeah.
This our headlines.
Exactly, exactly. So again, we will continue to follow this story, and big shout out to those in the community who are leading the charge in this conversation.
Most deaf. 7:31 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, we'll take a quick break and come back and jump into some other news. Stay tuned. We got special guest Chris Baby Boy Bowling coming up.
Baby boy.
Questions ready for him, man. We got a lot of stuff to talk about for some of the work that he's been doing, and one of the articles that's out on Flatwater Free Press. If you've been
Yeah, man.
keeping up with it, so stay tuned. We'll be right back. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Hall B, Buddy to God. All of
Hey.
you, Chad Chambers, Ghost Listener, you guys are coming in heavy today. I love it. Appreciate that very much. Share the show on your page. We'll be right back, y'all. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddy to God, Chad Chambers, Ghost Listeners. Thanks for joining us. Again, if you're just joining us, it is Wednesday, the 28th of August. It's about 7:33 in the morning. If you believe in the concept of time, it's supposed to be pretty warm today. Get up to like the 90s. If you're in Omaha, man, watch out. It's going to be a little bit warm. It's going to get warmer, but thunderstorms tomorrow, they're predicting. So we'll see how this weather's doing. It's kind of all over the place. But at least it's not that 110 degrees that it was the other day. So
Man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That
yeah.
part.
Appreciate that.
That part.
Mama Guy says like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. I appreciate if you would do that. If you're on YouTube, we're trying to expand YouTube out. So tell a friend, get people to come over and like and subscribe over on YouTube. That's where a lot of the action is, and a lot of the things that we're doing is going to be really kind of centered around there. We have shorts and all kinds of things that are popping over there more and more. And yeah, more news and more briefs and stuff to come on YouTube. So definitely go over to YouTube, like, subscribe, and hit the bell, as they say.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Yep.
Okay. Well,
Appreciate it. Then jump into some more. What you got next on the agenda, buddy?
yeah, well, really kind of continue the conversation based on what we were just talking about, really kind of reaching the conclusion of it's important to own our own communities, to own and operate and have a say in what goes on in our communities. Because even if we live in an area, if we don't own businesses, if we don't own property, then we won't have much say in what goes on in that area. Or, it's going to at least be a fight to have what we have to say be heard. So again, we want to follow the money. Want to follow the money and look at what's going on in our communities. We talk about, we've been talking about politics, and really this is in light of what Senator McKinney had to say on Monday, which I really appreciated. As far as stop being disappointed in politicians.
Mm.
What, and so this kind of brings me to this conversation about what's going on economically and what can we do in ourselves to kind of save some coins, man. Follow the money in this way. This is actually also tied to a story coming out of Nebraska Examiner on a national level. It says U.S. credit card debt continues to rise as housing and other costs remain high for the lowest earners. Americans are racking up credit card debt as they struggle to keep up with the cost of living. And experts say those who earn the least are the hardest hit. Total credit card balances rose about 5.8% over the last year, which at a dollar amount is about $1.4 trillion. That's according to a recent New York Fed report. Equifax credit files through June show that credit card delinquency is still rising, but that delinquency on consumer finance loans and retail cards has gone down. Also, auto loan delinquency is flat, so that hasn't moved. But credit card use is up, and people are struggling to keep up with the payments. People, of course, use credit cards for all kinds of purchases, and despite the stereotype of consumers getting themselves into too much credit card debt so that they could buy a few extra flashy clothes or vacations, most people use credit cards for necessities, gas, food, things like that. So, what does it mean for the economy that the average rate of people with the credit card balance was about 22.7% in May? That there's an explanation about why that is going up. Again, still the rate of growth in credit card debt has accelerated, which again is not a good look. And I'm thinking particularly of the most vulnerable communities. Again, just on Monday, we talked about some new moves that the state is doing to recognize this trend and try to combat it. As far as again the whole move of breaking the state up into 6 regions for economic development. And one of the regions, of course, the smallest is the metro region, which Omaha falls into. That's Douglas, Sarpy, Dodge, and Washington County. But the big thing being pointed out is the discrepancy, the imbalance. Again, most of Douglas County makes about $83,000 as a median household income. However, North and South Omaha makes less than half of that. South Omaha is actually around half at about 42,000 for median household income. However, North Omaha is about 35,000 for median household income, actually closer to about 30% of that in the county. So again, what are we doing? How are we doing? Are you finding yourself in credit card debt, or do you have any tips? Without putting too much of your information out there, more so looking for tips. What are you doing to save coin and make it through what's obviously a hard economic chapter in American history?
I can almost feel Mayor Sanchez's fingertips warming up now.
Definitely
Let us
thinking of the
know
mayor. Definitely thinking of
how
the
we
mayor.
can save some coin for sure. So if anybody has any suggestions, let us know. I'll put it out there. I'm definitely working the credit card right now myself.
Man,
So trying to
man.
make sure can't keep the balance off quite yet. Trying to get that down to back to being able to get paid off. But right now, kind of got to use it.
Yeah.
And again, it ain't for new gear. It's for necessities. It's for paying some bills and things like that. Unfortunately, so yeah, and it just means working harder, coming up with some more side hustles in order to pay off some things and all the stuff we got to do. I never in my life had to be thinking about financial situations in the way that I do now in order to try to like solve that problem. It's almost like a 24/7 thing on your brain.
Mhm.
How it is you're gonna try to make it. I had a different attitude when I was younger. It was kind of like, let me go get this money. Like I don't know how to explain why it's different. You were trying to get money before, but right now we gotta I got to think about it in a totally different way, and it could just because maybe situations are worse, housing going up, rents going up, and so on and so forth. But I tell you, we're all juggling, and some of that conversations that we have with friends and family sometimes is like, well, how are you juggling? Well, how are you juggling? Well,
Mhm.
what's the juggle trick? And so on right now. So yeah, it's a tough thing right now. We pay attention to a little bit of national news too, which ties to some of this stuff in, which is some of the things that sometimes the Democrats are always talking about is the programs and the things that
Mhm.
Biden put in place and the money that he made available and came down to state level. And we happen to be in states that didn't really want to trickle it down the way that it could have been trickled down. So it makes it look like, will they just, lip service on that, or can we get some of this money? So
Mhm.
we got to remember there's a step in between. Federal will send the money to the state, and the state controls it.
Right.
So
And
what state are we in? Go ahead.
to that point, the money, the 3 million or so that we talked about with this whole economic development plan that the state is rolling out, did come from the federal government. These are federal funds, not taxpayer dollars, but federal funds that are being put into this. So there is that element. But again, what can the everyday person do to control their own destiny rather than waiting on the handout from politicians, which I'm pretty sure kind of they sense it and they feed on it. That's man. Rome's review in the chat says most people don't want to make the sacrifices it takes. Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I kind of feel that that way myself sometimes. I don't feel like I
Mhm.
have to. I should have to make some of the sacrifices that it takes sometimes. To be honest, like why we got to be suffering like that? You know what I'm saying? Like,
And what type of sacrifices are we talking
and what?
about?
Yeah, that's the real thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Circa Feld says, I'm a fan of juggling. She says, I transfer that heavy credit card bill from when I was deep in breast cancer treatment, transfer to a zero interest. I pinch every penny. I soak dry beans twice a week. I feel you.
Okay.
I mean, we all doing the thing like that. That's what I'm saying. That's the lifestyle. You know, first of all, our community is gonna be like that in the first. Our community is gonna be like making enough in the first place. And also it's real funny because like some when things get rough for some other members of our community, they sometimes they be coming to us like, how was y'all? Yeah, we got a few tips from having to pinch having to juggle for so many years. We got a few tips.
Man.
So you know, it ain't what it is. You know, it is what it is. Miss Circumfell says, cut your streaming when YouTube and Tubi are free. Watch them commercials. Anthony Rogers Anthony Rogers Wright says, "We will never own our own communities without our own banks that are moving the money and reallocating it." So yeah, we're a little far away from owning the communities. We can start owning a few properties here and there and so on,
Mhm.
maybe some businesses, some small businesses and so on. But you're right, like we got to make bigger moves than that in order to really own the neighborhoods and take care of it. And owning the neighborhood means what? Being able to take care of folks and maybe you know, lower some prices for some housing and all kinds of things like that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, this kinda makes me think of what you always talk about as far as your family and, your what was it, great grandpops,
Mhm.
owning the showcase and some of the favors, like the what it really means to have people from the community owning businesses in the community. You tell me all times of the stories of all these legendary now musicians who, at times had to get a horn out the pawn shop. Had to, might need an extra favor. I'm thinking about times when I was in college. As a struggling college student not working, there was times I didn't have money for food and my stipend for the calf was out. And man, shout out to Miss Oline. Oline Southern Food right across the street from campus. Got
Mm.
some free meals a couple times.
Wow. Man, takes a community.
Takes a community. And those are the types of things that really, owning a community. So big shout out to everybody who owns a business. If you're a business owner, definitely drop that into the chat as well so we can support.
Yeah.
Also, this is a good time to mention that we still do have the Black Business Registry at the top, pinned at the top of Friends of First Sky. So again, if you haven't already put your information on there, reach out and yeah, we'll try to get that updated for you.
Yeah, and look at it.
Yeah, yeah,
I had to remember to look at it, from
that
time
part.
to time, and,
That part.
when I get something in mind I gotta go spend some money on, I try to go there and check it out first so I can make sure that there's some businesses I can frequent, but, yeah, it is what it is, man. Before we move on from this
Mhm.
subject, I was just thinking about an article or a video that I saw on I think it was on YouTube, where, a person from another culture that lives in another country was saying, you know, Americans don't know how broke they really are. Like
Man.
we're broke, bro. Like it ain't just us. It ain't just our communities that we talking about. People who think they got some money are broke. Like the people are living a check or two checks away.
Mhm.
People are in heavy debt from top to bottom. People don't own nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
this is the reason why big conglomerates like Blackwater can come in and buy up swaths of companies and businesses that own several hundreds and thousands pieces of property and make it so that we all got to rent. This is the reason why this is happening because most Americans can't come in and really own anything and really have any money to do anything. And we can blame it on us trying to be, you know, the materialism and all the extra things that we want to, the lifestyle we want to live and so on and so forth. But for the most part, man, you should have a little bit of discretionary funds to be able to live a lifestyle you're trying to live and still not be all the way messed up, upside down, broke, and in debt till you're retire. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
when it really comes down to it, when you compare this country to other countries and how people are doing things in other countries, most Americans are broke. Like like in a real way. Like we're all juggling. We're all juggling. And it's getting worse. That gap is getting worse. The gap of people who are juggling like us, and then you know billionaires that got billions and billions and billions upon billions. We all know that that gap is doing what it's doing. So tough call, bro. And this is the reason why we have a whole segment called "Follow the Money," so we
Man,
can figure out what's going on. And we don't like, we come from this situation where we feel like what we need to be doing is taking care of our own stuff, but there's money that is coming in that comes from our taxes. This is why I keep going back to, because I'd be like, forget it, I don't want none of your money. And then I think, well, wait a minute, I just put a whole, like, I owe so much in tax. You know what I'm saying? Where's this tax money going? Bring some of it back if it's all like that, or give me the stuff I want to spend that tax money on. So we got to bring up the stuff about the state and the federal money that comes down, and we got to hold the powers that be in the state accountable for trickling that money down to where it's supposed to go, and so on and so forth. It's a necessity. So I
yeah,
appreciate everybody's comments on this. One last comment, Matthew Miller Jenkins saying the billionaires that are causing this have names. Maybe we should start calling them out. Why does Bill Gates own almost 1/3 of our farming land?
man. Good
Talking about
question.
boycotting some stuff. It is what it
Good
is.
question.
Speaking of questions, get your questions ready. We got a special guest waiting in the wings. We've been waiting to talk to him for a while, ladies and gentlemen. Chris Bowling, we call him Baby Boy over here. Chris Baby Boy Bowling from Flatwater Free Press in the house. Good morning, man.
Hey,
Baby
how's it
boy,
going?
Good morning, man. How you
how
doing,
you
brother? Good
doing?
to see your face.
Doing pretty good. Just took my dogs for a nice walk. It's
Hey,
a little
that's
bit,
great.
yeah, cooler. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I've talked to you guys since I moved into my new house, but uh,
Okay,
yeah,
Okay, check you
yeah,
out.
just living in
congrats.
a giant mansion overlooking the city.
I
Just
love it. I love it.
living off that fat journalist salary. No, just
Man,
but yeah,
Journalism is good to you.
my
I
upstairs like
see.
traps like all the heat, and so it's like nice to like go outside and like feel a little bit of coolness.
I hear you. I
yeah,
hear you.
yeah,
I see you got
Mhm.
definitely.
some nice natural light in there, and you become a
Yeah,
plant daddy and everything.
yeah.
Check
Yeah,
it.
we got the
Beautiful.
philodendron, and I don't know. That's like a terrarium. We got a whole. I built this cabinet, taking up
Good.
some carpentry.
Good job,
Okay,
bro. Journalism
nice,
been good to you, huh?
Just trying to do my thing.
man. Well, man, happy for you, man. Other than that, man, how's Flatwater been treating you, man?
It's good. Yeah, just I'm on the Omaha beat, so it's very similar to kind of what I was doing for the Reader. Just bouncing around to a lot of different kinds of stories. So I mean, I'm doing lots of stuff with Omaha, but I mean, I heard you guys talking about state stuff, so I'm also doing lots of stuff about you know uh, the governor cutting the budgets of a lot of the agencies, and that is a thing that goes along with his property tax plan,
Yeah,
saving
yeah,
money on agency stuff and putting that toward property tax stuff. But it's all just a big jumbled mess, and stuff about TANF, like welfare money, like you guys were talking about. I don't know if I guess I wasn't on to talk about the story about us using. You guys were talking about how a lot of money goes unspent. That's from the federal money for uh, social aid and all that stuff. Anyway,
millions.
Nebraska, we're using a good portion of that to fund crisis pregnancy centers, which many people say are strictly anti-abortion centers and all that sort of stuff.
Mm.
So
Mm.
I probably should have floated that your guys' way just to make sure that you saw that. But it is, yeah. Anyway, so lots of different things.
Yeah, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot going on. It's a lot
Oh
going
yeah.
on.
Hmm.
Yeah, but definitely looking forward to that budget cut story, because that's we've been talking about property taxes, but that's a side of that whole property tax situation that we haven't really looked deeply into as far as where it's being cut. So if you have a
Hmm.
story coming down, looking forward to that. But we're actually here to talk about today a story that you have about the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation,
Hmm.
something that we've been paying close attention to. Of course, as you know, us working at the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation in the Mine and Soul days. Kind of how did this story get on your radar, and what was what take it away?
Yeah, well, I mean, I should say, I think the first time I met you guys was actually on Mind and Soul, going down into the basement and
Yeah,
hopping on the radio and everything. But yeah, so I mean, obviously, you guys have probably talked about, and everybody knows, Malcolm X was, obviously born in Omaha, and recently they put his bust in the Hall of Fame, and the state, awarded him as kind of part of the Northo recovery money, $20 million to the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation to build a museum to kind of renovate their current spot. If anyone doesn't know, the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation is situated at the birth site. Well, not the birth site, but he was born kind of by UNMC, and then he spent his first year and a half on 3448 Pinckney Street. So, yeah, there's a picture of it. And yeah, they have been around since 1971, and they've just really struggled for all those years to, raise any money, to get any momentum going, to be able to achieve these long-standing dreams of having a museum or having an amphitheater, having a place for the community to gather, and really just raising the visibility of Malcolm X in Omaha. I used to live kind of near the Gerald R. Ford, birth site, and that has, this giant, sign on the highway, and you go, and it's got all the gardens, and it's very, very hard to miss. I mean, you could very easily not know that the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation exists. They had to struggle for decades just to get a historical marker put into place. They had to struggle even longer to get a street named after him. So they've really been fighting for a long time. And I've just had some association with the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation, like going to things there, obviously doing the radio stuff with you guys. So I've known about them for a while, but it was really the most interesting part was digging deeper into the history for this story.
Definitely. And I'm just kind of curious, as let's just call it what it is. It's a white guy from Ohio coming to Nebraska, learning about this history. What do you think this kind of means for the history of Nebraska? Like,
yeah, I mean, I think there's so many interesting things. So one, I think the biggest part of this story, and Leo Lewis says it in a quote in the story, but what got him into the foundation was not so much Malcolm X, but it was the people associated with the foundation. And I think that's really interesting because, I mean, I think that it's obviously about Malcolm X and his teachings, and that association with him really makes his teachings resonate. But it's really a story about, this community in, Omaha, especially North Omaha, that are really, I mean, they share a lot of similar stories with Malcolm X. To see something that really, that association, and just to struggle for so long, it's as much a testament to them, probably more so, honestly, than it is to just Malcolm X and his legacy. Because if they didn't fight for it, then, I mean, nobody would have fought for it. And the second thing is, I mean, I think you have to be honest, is that Malcolm X, he's not Martin Luther King Jr. He doesn't have the positive association with people in power, especially white people. And that's something, former President Johnny Rogers says in the story, that he's a famous guy, but he's not a popular guy, especially in Nebraska.
More infamous.
And so, yeah, I mean, they nominated him for the Hall of Fame 3 different times. Well, this was the 3rd time. And those previous 2 times, they didn't take him in. And for me, I mean, it's just he is one of the most famous civil rights leaders, and I think time has only made him, recognize him even more. So it is just crazy for me to learn, 1, that he's from here, 2, that, there's not a whole lot here to recognize him, and that what is here has really, really, people have had to struggle for it. So yeah, just a lot of things. I mean, I don't know. It's just, I guess I sort of get it, but it doesn't really make sense at the same time.
Right. One thing I will say that I appreciate about your story, that you acknowledged, and we don't talk about enough, especially in this community, and you're talking about, it's not necessarily about Malcolm X, but the people of the community who kind of embody his spirit. And one unsung hero about this whole situation is Miss Rowena Moore. A lot of people don't talk about Miss Rowena Moore.
She is such an interesting. I mean, I don't know if there's anything else you want to say about her.
No, go ahead, please.
Yeah,
please.
I didn't really know anything about her beforehand, but I mean, yeah, and that's, I mean, going back to let me just explain about Rowena Moore. So she was born in Oklahoma, I want to say in the early 1900s. I can't remember the exact year, but in the 1920s, her dad moved their family up here to work in the meatpacking plants. Like a lot of, African-American people were moving to Omaha from 1910 to 1920 for the same reason. And grew up in Omaha, was living in the South Side Terraces and during World War II with her young son. And black women had always been excluded from the meatpacking plants. And during the war, obviously, a lot of white women went and were working at the meatpacking plants because the men were going to war. So she and a bunch of her compatriots at Southside Terrace, organized and were able to force the packing plants to hire black women. She became a very, very prominent person in the unions there. And she worked for 20 years. I mean, there's an old interview I found with her where she's describing the work she did of like, I think it was like hogs or maybe it was beef, but it was literally like, I mean, not to be graphic, but like gutting them and like not even using like gloves. And she did that for 20 years to help, to pay for, because it was the job that was available to her, a good paying job. And through that, she was able to purchase some property in North Omaha, which included 3448 Pinckney Street. And her father had a second family who lived there. So her sister and all of her siblings grew up in this tiny little, well, I don't want to say tiny little shack, but it was basically a farmhouse, out on this land. And so it was really interesting. But yeah, anyway, she labor organizer of protests of police brutality. I found in the World Herald. She, I think, was the first black woman to run for city council. She advocated a lot for the Kellam neighborhood and saw a lot of investment go into there. So, and yeah, one of my favorite little details is I couldn't find a recording of this, but at some point in the 50s, she financed a movie called The Sacred Beauty. And she just, all of her friends around like North Omaha were cast in it. There was some kind of like trio of singing brothers, or maybe he was a reverend or something. But like, and like her sister, who's still alive, she doesn't really remember the plot. But what's so important about it is that she cared about the community. Like she wanted to present the best of the community and do things for the community. And so that's what really, I think, led her to Malcolm X. I mean, I think the association with someone who's so famous is very tantalizing, but I think it's the fact that his story is not that different from a lot of people in Omaha's. I mean, the racial violence, the, like his parents came here to preach, Garvey, to preach Marcus Garvey's teachings. And a lot of people that I talked to were like, oh, I remember like growing up and people, they remember the Garvey meetings and all that sort of stuff. So it's like, he wasn't like some kind of off here, thing. I mean, it was a part of this community and the fabric of this community. So anyway, yeah, Rowena Moore, very great person, very short, skinny, but apparently very dominating force. So
look at
she
that.
should get more respect. There's apparently a mural of her in South Omaha that I need to go and check out. Yeah, I can't remember. I think there was something on Noise about it from a few years ago.
It's at the memorial. It's at the Southside Metropolitan Community College campus. I filmed the painting of that.
Yeah, it probably was that then.
Nice.
Yeah, she reminds me of she's kind of come from the Shirley Chisholm school. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, a lot of people said that.
Yeah, powerful women in that time frame that was doing big things. So, if we didn't make it clear, she's the reason why there is the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation there now.
Yes,
she donated that land to this organization in order to do that. And oh yeah, man.
No, I'm looking. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the chat, brother Skilo in the chat. Peace. He says my great aunt.
Say what?
That's crazy.
All in the family around here, man.
Yeah, I mean that's Omaha for you. There's got to be some blood somewhere, man.
Yeah,
I believe that's how she spelled her name.
Yeah, she does. You're right. She needs to be better known for sure. It's funny. It's kind of a given. Like you're explaining some stuff, and I'm sitting here going, "That's right." Most people don't know this because we have our history over there at Mind and Soul. We definitely got to know who Rowena Moore was, and so like you're right though. Like we know her, but not a lot of people know the whole story and all that. So again, I appreciate what you did with the article for sure. What's the future here for what sense did you get about what they're going to do and use the money for and how's this going to work?
Yeah, so Joanna, the executive director, didn't have a whole lot of details because they're still sort of working out, not only putting out RFP, or request for proposal from, like architects and landscape, I don't know, all the different people that have to go into
stuff.
Yeah. So they're still kind of figuring all that out, or they're in that process. but they also want to have some town halls to talk to people about, what exactly do you want to see, in this place. I don't know if they're gonna totally reroute their plans and all that sort of stuff, but I think they want to incorporate ideas and make sure that it's really works for the community as much as it works for their foundation. I mean, I will say, as much as this has been a dream basically since Rowena Moore started it in 1971, and every like couple of years or decade they had like a new artist rendering of like what they wanted, and it was always the same thing. It was like, oh, a museum and a bunch of gardens and this and that. So I think that they're going to stay pretty true to like those long-standing visions, but yeah, there's sketch for a museum, a cultural center, a bunch of gardens, a better use of that green space, an amphitheater over more toward Adams Park. Like I can't remember what street that would be on the south side, but yeah, I don't know. It's so
Bedford, I think it is.
Yep,
yeah,
Bedford.
that's right. So they need to have the money allocated by 2027. I don't know when a construction date would be or when it would all be unveiled, but yeah, it would just be super. I'm just excited to see what it looks like, and just hopefully more people make that trek and like go to the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation and are able to, I don't know, just know the history and that it can serve the community better. I mean, Trill McKinney said in the story that, this really has an opportunity to be North Omaha's, beacon of hope. Like it's a real cultural center touch point. Not to say there aren't already a lot of those in North Omaha, but just to have another one. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's a really great story. I mean, I have to cover a lot of stories that are like, here's where your government is, going wrong, or here's this really bad thing that happened, or here's this person that, died because of a preventable mistake. And so it's nice to be able to cover something that is an organization that I think a lot of people should know about, and, some good news, as it were.
Yeah, and I again, as Paul mentioned, we've learned a lot about Miss Rowena Moore over the years working closely. But just in this conversation, I learned a lot about her as well. So looking forward to digging more into the article, and appreciate you for always, man. Like even not being from Omaha, not being from this community, just doing responsible journalism and storytelling, and doing good work as always.
Thanks, I appreciate it. I try, and I'm just appreciative of I don't know, my relationship with you guys. That you vouch for me, and that's it's great. It's great stuff to do. They're great stories to tell. Omaha, I mean, I always tell people when I travel, like, you would not believe how many different things are going on here, whether it's stories in North Omaha, or just like things that are not getting covered enough in City Hall. I mean, it's just, Omaha is a very, very great place to do journalism. So I am very happy that I have a job here.
And we're very lucky to have you, man. Again, we appreciate you. We love you. And yeah. There's Baby Boy Bowling, y'all. Anything else you wanted to get into, or Paul, what you think?
Well, yeah, let's actually it's 8:03 right now, if you believe in the concept of time. So now we're in the second hour of what's going on here, and we'd love to have you back, man, and talk about some of the other articles that you're doing. Let's do this a little bit more regularly than we have been as well. Yeah. And give us some suggestions of some other folks doing some good work at Flatwater that we can have on as well.
Yeah, you guys should definitely have Jeremy on. He's the other Omaha reporter. He's super interesting. I'm trying to think if there's anything coming up. We have an intern who is she just finished out her summer internship and is going to be going back to school in Lincoln, but she just did something about city settlements. It's mostly about Lincoln, because apparently Lincoln is settling a lot more money than Omaha, but I don't know if you guys are. I mean, there's a lot of sexual harassment and police type issues, but I'll think on it, and we can chat more. But yeah, there's always good stories coming out. It just there's a lot of state stuff, so it just kind of depends how we want to go with Omaha stuff.
Most def. I don't know if you know this, but we just launched our newsletter, and we know that you got a newsletter.
I'm reading the weekly recap, or the weekly wrap.
Right on.
My man.
We know that you guys got one too. We know that you launched one recently and been heading that up. So we'll definitely encourage everybody to get that newsletter as well, because I like what you've been doing with the one over there too. So kind of reminds me of the Read More situation over there at the Reader.
We didn't even talk about in the newsletter. I did my whole journey with the Stellinator.
Oh,
did you guys even see that?
I didn't catch that one.
Are you guys familiar with the Stellinator?
Yeah.
So if people don't know, it's a burger down at Stella's in Bellevue. It's like 6 patties, 6 slices of
I've
cheese,
heard of
6 eggs, 12 strips of bacon,
Yeah, no.
peanut butter on both buns. Some veggies. I don't know. I had this
You need a
idea
heart
of
attack
like
right now.
Man.
exactly, yeah.
Tell
I
me
had
what's
this
on you, honey.
idea. I had this idea of like doing it to like raise, like, hey, if we reach a certain number of subscribers, like I'll eat the Stellinator.
Don't do
I
that,
brought
bro.
it to Matthew, my editor, and he was like, "Well, why don't we just do it?" And I'm like, "Well, so how am I gonna like sell it to people? Like, hey, everyone, I'm eating this big burger, and that's basically what I did.
Man.
So
Man.
anyway, every week I like interviewed a different, expert. So like a scientist, the owners of Stella's, the person that has the record, a journalist who covers the culture of this sort of stuff. So anyway, just going back to like fun things that are not always super serious. It's an
Yeah.
interesting thing. I don't know if anyone actually wants to like read about me, gorging myself and look at pictures of me, like covered in like peanut butter and beef, but
Jeez. Give
I
me
don't
my
people have thought it
arteries
was
is
pretty
clogged
funny.
as you
So
speak. But you got a good idea though. You kind of got me thinking about we ought to put that a whole thing about the best wings in our newsletter. You're right. We need a little bit of levity sometimes when it
maybe.
comes to these things for sure.
mhm.
Man.
Yeah. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, definitely check it out. How can they get a hold of the newsletter? Just go to Flatwater.
Yeah, so if you go on flatwaterfreepress.org,
Mm-hmm.
let's see if it's just okay. And then there's a subscribe button. Hit that, and then there's a page that says maybe you can just like pull it up later if you have a chance. But
Mm-hmm.
choose your newsletters. You put in your information, and you just got to make sure that you click the box that says Omaha News and Events, and it comes out. I want to say, was it 10 a.m. on Thursdays? Yeah, every Thursday at 10 a.m.
Okay.
Nice.
Every
Nice.
Thursday at 10 a.m. Cool. Ours drops out every Friday about 10 a.m. So got a couple days of checking out some things
Just the
for
Yeah.
sure.
1-2 punch.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He'll right left. Also, documentaries of Flatwater.
Right.
Speaking up
Yeah.
on documentaries, will there be documentaries information on the newsletters?
Yeah. So we include a little blurb from Leia, our documenters person who we hired. I want to say 2 months ago, 3 months ago. It's
Mhm.
fairly recent, but yeah, people don't know citizen journalism. You get paid and trained to go cover public meetings. And yeah, so we include a blurb from her, but you can also just learn more at, oh man, let's see. I think if you just Google Omaha Documenters and click
Mhm.
the second link, yeah, it's omaha-ne. Omaha-ne.documenters.org.
There
Uh,
you go.
so yeah,
Actually, just spoke to her. We're gonna have her on the show here pretty soon as well. So
Yeah, man.
yeah,
Yeah, definitely got to talk about documentaries. Call it the civic side hustle.
exactly. And I think it's interesting with her is that she's the like director of civic journalism at Nebraska Journalism Trust. So it's going to include more than documenters eventually. And so there's some things that we're working on to like, you know, just more civic journalism. So like you guys are like the kind of people that she needs to, make relationships with. So
most definitely. It's
yeah,
already in the works. Already in the works. Appreciate it,
Yeah.
man.
thank
Appreciate you
you
coming
guys.
in. Before you get out of here, one last question. Maybe you can answer it before you get out of here. Tony Johnson is saying, based on your experience, Chris, why is it difficult to get news out for areas such as North Omaha? What can our community do differently to bring light to our stories and community? What would you say?
Yeah, I guess does that mean getting news like to people in North Omaha, or getting stories out of North Omaha that
Mm.
are the stories that people want to see and not? I guess.
Bringing light to our stories is what he's
Yeah,
asking
for
about. So,
sure.
yeah.
I think having people who live in the communities is always like the best way to do it, and like building those relationships. Someone going back to the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation, Rudy Smith, a longtime World Herald photographer and journalist.
Mhm.
He covered the hell out of North Omaha. He has amazing, beautiful photos. I want to buy his book. That's a really, really great, example. So that's hard. I don't know. having people who care, like building those relationships and trust with journalists, just kind of hard because a lot of, TV journalism, especially, like it's kind of like they're bouncing around to so many different
Mm-hmm.
things, and that's
Mm-hmm.
just a function of their job. It's not their decision.
Yep.
I like what Channel 3 is doing with like this neighborhood beat, and I feel like I've seen some good things come out of that. As far as getting the stories you want to see out there, um, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of people who are in positions of like power who, I think can advocate for stories they want to see. Maybe it's about like building relationships like with those people. I mean, today I'm going to actually just have coffee with Leslie Smith, who is I don't know if it's director or president of like the land bank. And so, I don't know, like that could be something. I think the best thing is to like have your own, news source. So like the things you guys are doing, is the best way to do it. I don't know. I mean, the basic thing is with news is like, it's about things being newsy and timely,
Mm-hmm.
newsy and timely. And so it's always about like how you frame things. It's about something going on, so I guess I don't really have like a great answer for that, but maybe those are some thoughts.
No, I think you answered that the best way you could.
Mhm.
Ultimately, this one thing I always say about journalism. It's a constitutional right. Like you have the freedom of press. You have the right to tell your own stories. You have that right. You don't have to go to school to get some big degree in order to write a story of what's going on in your own community. If you see something
Mhm.
going on, you know how to put it in words, put it on paper, put it in words, and give it to people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the mechanisms for that now.
I
Right.
went to journalism school, but and I definitely learned a lot of great things.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's tricks
But
of the trade, but
yeah, I mean the best way to learn is by doing and experience. And so yeah, I mean, I would love to see, and I've thought about it and would like to get it going if it's possible to like do more like mentorship programs like in high schools and things like that, because you know that's what did it for me, was learning about it in high school and then growing up. And when you grow up in a place like you just care about the stories there a little bit
mm-hmm.
more, you have more credibility with people. Like
Right.
it's just, so we need to really be educating and helping the younger generation. I don't know, I'm definitely very down to figure that out.
And
I don't
and
know.
and now you see why Chris Baby Boy Bowling is a part of our content creator camp, one of
There
the
you go.
instructors. We
Mhm.
got a couple camps coming up this next year, brother. So we definitely want to have you back on to help with that. And we'll be
Mhm.
working with the Empowerment Network that has some of the Step Up kids. So with some
Yeah.
younger kids, high school kids,
Yeah,
that
man.
just what you're saying, to get them early and really kind of help coach them through. We got a different way we're going to try to do it this time in order to get more of those young folks involved. So
Yeah,
we
that's
appreciate
great.
the work that you did with us before in a big way. If you guys don't know, he was one of our instructors for our first content creator camp. Chris Baby Boy Bowling is in the fam. So
Yeah, man.
Baby Boy is going to be back. We appreciate you,
Mhm.
brother.
All right, thanks guys.
Appreciate your plant, daddy. Go ahead with your plant protection.
All right. Can do.
All right, brother. Good to see you. Peace.
All right,
Peace.
see ya.
All right. Always a pleasure to hang out with Chris Baby Boy Bowling, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
everybody
yeah,
said,
yeah.
yeah, everybody
Getting down.
responds well to him too. Good questions, Tony Johnson. Appreciate that very much. I went ahead and put the that subscribe page in there, Flatwater Free Press, on the chat, so you can click that and check it out. And also, I put the link to the article, the Malcolm X article that he wrote as well. So definitely dig into that and check that out. And I gotta say, man, talking to him, he just reminded me of some folks that I've been trying to look into too. A
Mm.
big way, man. I'm like I'm forgetting all about some of these cats that are from Omaha doing some big things. Yeah.
What's that? You just put it up. You tell what
Yeah,
is that?
yeah, Rudy Smith. Rudy Smith is a photographer out of here's a young picture of Rudy Smith back in the day, photographer out of Omaha that's doing some big things, man. And this is the book that he was just talking about, the Black
Mm-hmm.
Experience. It's pretty famous book actually for of photography, and he's a pretty famous photographer
Yeah, man.
out of Omaha, man. And I got wind of him early on and kind of put it on the back burner as far as like doing some research, and Chris just brought him back up. Check out Rudy Smith, and I'm gonna dive deep into it too, and maybe get that book because that's kind of right up my alley right there as far as my photography heroes are concerned, I think he's going to be one of them coming up. So,
Man.
and it just goes to show you, sometimes it takes somebody from outside the community that comes in, is interested in what's going on, and sees it from a different viewpoint, different vantage point. The way that he does, like you said, white boy from Ohio coming in and seeing things a different way. Sometimes I remember talking to Leo Lewis one time, who was like, I lived right around the corner from the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation and didn't know until I was grown
Man.
that Malcolm X was born there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what's up. Miss Erica Feld, you better chill out over here. Look, hold on just a minute. We're gonna take a quick break so she can live. 8:15 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, stay tuned. We'll be right back. First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
All B, buddy to God.
Hey.
All of you chat timers, ghost listeners, and monitoring spirits.
Yeah, everybody.
People that will never admit you listen, but we know you.
We see you. We see you.
We'll be right back, y'all. Wait a minute. Wait, hold on. Rudy Smith was Mama Guy's uncle. So Rudy Smith in your family.
It's news to me, bro. Hey, that's Omaha for you.
That's what this is. First Guy Omaha News. We'll be right back.
Hey.
Welcome back. You're listening to First Guy Omaha Radio. First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
My name is Paul B. He's Buddy to God.
Hey.
You're now in the second hour where we do a lot more of the discussion of some of the stories from the first hour. We appreciate you guys hanging in there with us this whole show.
Yeah,
for the whole time. I know people come in and out and check out the show. That's why I'm always saying, if you're just joining us, then blah blah blah. So, but you know what it is. Take it in how you can. And if you miss any parts of the show, you can always see it in its entirety if you go back to YouTube. Check us out on YouTube. Like and subscribe when you get over there. Really appreciate that very much. We got to dive back into. It's right. Omaha small.
Man,
we talking about some legendary folks, and they happen to be in the fam. Pops a little earlier said something too. He said, Miss Rowena work directly affected our family. Says my grandmother was one of those black women who worked at the packing houses in the early days. Many white men refused to believe and resented how much money she was making in those days. So that's my family. Now we hearing Brother Rudy Smith is in your family.
Man. I also found out that Bud's trainer Bo is a cousin.
Is that right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Omaha is something else. There's only one place in the world that's like that. I remember saying when I first got in town in 2010, I was walking down the street and somebody was like, "Are you Alan?" Just out the blue. I'm like, it's the only place I can walk down the street and my features are telling people who the fam is. Yeah, because that's the thing. It's the thing about Omaha. I don't feel like it's just a city. It feels like it's one big extended family, bro.
It's a real community. It is a real community, and our efforts here are just to keep that community intact for future generations, because that's something that I want my children to experience, to be able to walk down the street like, hey, you might not know me, but I know your grandma, I know your grandpa, I know your daddy, I know your mama, and you better not act up when I'm gonna call them.
I know your uncle, Rudy Smith. I got this book in my library.
All right. Because then that way you learn about yourself and you learn where you come from.
Man. Mama said, buddy, don't know how our family be influencing.
Oh, yeah.
He learning every year just like I'm learning every year, for real.
Yeah, man. It's a beautiful thing.
I wanted to. One of the things that I'm trying to do in my time here in Omaha is to put this legacy group together that is really because I have such a strong legacy family and legacy in this town. It's impressed upon me about how much everybody does and how much would it help, especially young black folks in our neighborhoods that don't feel like they have a legacy, to see what their legacy actually is, because everybody has one. Everybody's
Oh
related
yeah.
to somebody, and to put some emphasis on that. Also working at the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation through Mind and Soul. That was another reason why I was thinking legacy in such a strong way, and how much of a impression is put on me, and the way that every year I'm still learning about family and learning, meeting family and learning about family and learning about the legacy of my family. And it's like a constant thing. Every year I'm learning more and more, and so it just always surprises me when how that affects how it is that you are. And sometimes young, especially young black boys, when who I'm thinking about, don't understand like who their grandfather was and what they did and so on. Think they don't come from the same kind of legacy, but they do. They absolutely do. So a research project with them to dig into their past, to write their story, to look at their legacy, I think might help change some minds about how it is that they feel like they should be growing up and what they should be doing. That, and coupled with leaving the state, going outside, seeing how other people live and hearing other stories, I think will really kind of help in development. And that's, I'm not, if I can help in that way because of something that is so close to me, then that's what I'm thinking about doing. I know
Mhm.
they need other things. There's the brother Kasim over there, BAA, that's taking them to learn survival training and so on. That's not my bag. My bag is more teaching them that they got a legacy. What does that actually mean for your future, your plans, and how you want to live up to that, and so on and so forth. So I just think it's interesting, and learning more and more about your family too.
Yeah.
That's the real crazy part.
Storytelling, man. Storytelling. We used to, back when Michelle was with us. Shout out to Michelle Trotsclair, out there doing great things. I believe in Ohio, but we used to call ourselves the Three Agrios for that very reason. Again, never really got into this what we're doing as far as with the intention of being the next Walter Cronkite, or what I mean, like
Right,
being major news dudes. We're
right,
just artists from the community that really loves our community. I was actually thinking about when Chris Baby Boy was on, talking about journalism and his love for Omaha. I don't really know if I would be like, I can't really see myself being a journalist anywhere else.
mm,
I talk about Omaha news because I really love my community,
right.
and really want my community to thrive, really want the people in my community to thrive. And that's what's driving this. That's what's driving this. So again, I'm not sure where I'm going with this, but yeah, man, I love and appreciate y'all, and hopefully, I appreciate that y'all love and appreciate what we're doing, and looking forward to continue doing that.
Well, one place we can go with this is recognizing where we are with the news. We are trying to bring the news. News dissemination is a big part of what First Kind Omaha is working on increasing and doing. We have started it though from this kind of vantage point of entertainment, edutainment is what we were kind of calling it.
Hmm.
This conversation. We've been approaching it from that, and one of the influences from that is the way that people like Jon Stewart has made it accessible. They've made it kind of this it's a comedy thing, but you're also, a lot of people report they get their news from shows like that, from shows that don't feel like fake news, feel like somebody authentic is saying something, and they're making it palatable and making it a joke, and before you know it, the issues, what's going on. And that's not really where you should be getting your hard news, but that's where a lot of people get news, because
Hmm.
they make it accessible. So we try to do that as well. Just like you said, we're a couple of artists that are trying to make getting into what's going on in our neighborhoods more accessible. We're doing it through conversation. We're doing it through meeting of the minds, and talking to each other. But there's other Omahans that are doing it different ways now too. If you guys know
Hmm.
who Amber Ruffin is,
Man.
Amber Ruffin, Omaha native, doing big things. Started writing for Steph Myers, then moved into her doing her own show. She is a comedian in a big way, but is doing some stuff culturally that's amazing. Quite recently, she revitalized The Wiz on stage, and that's one of the big things that she did too, man. Is in the world of theater, killing the game, and now she got a new venture out. She got a new thing coming out as well. And what's killing me is it. Of course, you see, other comedians and stuff involved, with what she's doing. But the fact that it's on CNN, I'm really interested in what's happening with this. Have I got news for you that's going to start on
Man,
September 14th? Shout out to Amber Ruffin representing Omaha, Nebraska, always.
Benson Bunnies.
Straight up, her and Lacey doing the Amber Ruffin Lacey Lamar show
Man,
on the iHeartRadio. If you haven't checked out that podcast, doing big things. But yeah, Amber Ruffin doing big things now is going to be on Max and more importantly CNN, which I think is a real trip. Have I got news for you? A news show that is going to actually absolutely keep. And I know her personally, so I've talked to her about politics and things before. She's very involved and very educated on the subject,
mhm.
and uses her humor and her comedy and her platforms to really push agendas and stuff like that as well. And it looks like they've stepping up. She got with a couple of comedians. And it's a comedy quiz show. It looked like it's going to be on based around news. So I just think it's really interesting that CNN, who is not usually a channel that has any of that kind of Comedy Central style stuff on it, is doing this. What say you, buddy?
Man, I'm along the same path. It kind of is interesting, what that means for news, where we are in news, and kind of the social media influence, entertainment side of things, kind of converging onto the more traditional platforms. And I think this is kind of a tip of what the future of news will look like. And I feel like a lot of what we've been doing is kind of cutting edge, as far as like revolution of news, especially with the citizens journalism, civic journalism,
Mhm.
really recognizing that telling our own stories is not just a profession. It's a right. Everybody could do it, and everybody should do it. And that's kind of where I was going the direction I was going. What I was saying earlier, as far as us being artists, us being griots, and not really being news people, but wanting to have conversations and the contextualization. As artists, our job is to filter the world through our lens, whether that's through music, paint, and now news. Again, filtering our communities, filtering our world through our lens, and that has weight to it. It has a place. So again, appreciate everybody for joining us in this effort, and yeah, I love doing this, man. So hopefully we can continue doing this.
That's what's up. We getting brothers in arms on it too, man. Anthony
Yeah,
Rogers Wright got his launch. He says, speaking of news, catch my interview with Queen Mika, the sister queen, on the new show Full Spectrum right here. You got the link in the chat. Definitely hit the link and check out his interview. We're actually going to have Queen Shamika on Wednesday, next Monday coming up. So we'll have her on as well. But man, this is the time to have her on. She got a lot to say. So shout out to Anthony Rogers Wright for making that one of his first guests on Full Spectrum.
yeah,
Really
man.
appreciate that. I love that that the family is expanding. We need more conversation. We need more representation, more news, more conversations. Shout out to Anthony Rogers Wright getting down on that in a big way.
Yeah, actually, speaking of that, I do want to pivot into a story, or what you
Yeah,
doing?
just want to jump into the chat real quick. This is a
Mhm.
little bit of the chat time, and I just want to acknowledge Miss Erica
Yeah,
Phelps,
yeah,
who's saying she's saying I saw her production of The Wiz, talking about Amber Ruffin. I saw her production of The Wiz on Broadway in New York for my birthday past Easter. Yeah, I heard that
nice.
you went to that, and I never asked you. I wanted to talk to you about how that went. She said you definitely can tell where Amber Ruffin touched the script in The Wiz. Like, okay,
Nice.
I really can't wait to see that. That's what's up. That's what's up. She said a white dude next to me was mad that he didn't know what silk press meant. A little earlier in the chat, man, Mama Guy was saying Bo is my first cousin. Our fathers are brothers. His dad just passed.
Yep.
Talking about Bo, you said Bo is the trainer
For
for Bud
Bud.
Crawford. Right,
The
right.
other B in B&B boxing. You
The
got
other
Bud,
B,
then you got Bo.
Bud and Bo.
Yep, yep.
Miss Equifax said Portland used to be like that, talking about how close knit Omaha is with the black community until everyone got displaced with some push to Washington and others out to the numbers 100 blocks away. Gentrification. But
Man,
once gentrification broke up the black community in Portland, the murder rate went up at least once a week. Wow.
man.
Yeah, this is also something that we're really trying to fight against
Yeah.
right here
Yeah,
to
in
keep
Omaha.
community for real.
That part, that part.
Yeah. Also, Von Chapman says Rudy Smith's daughter is a star in her own right. She's been on Broadway in New York.
Yep.
You got fam in Broadway, bro?
Speaking of, and actually, I have heard about her. I did hear about having a cousin on Broadway. Just didn't know much about her. But yeah, been hearing about Kiana for a little bit.
Man, trip out, bro.
Speaking of
So,
Broadway,
speaking of Broadway, right? accessibility is key. Is so hard to get information in North Omaha. Hence why attendance at important meetings and events are low. Yeah, that's definitely one reason. Another reason is they could have those meetings in reasonable times that
Man,
working people can get to.
and
Yeah, man,
parents.
and parents, right? Shout out to everybody that's jumped in. Also, Mama God says she's been rolling on Broadway for years. Her name is Kiana. That's what's up. More fam. I wonder if Amber, they might know each other. You never know.
Mike.
Uh, Also, Heather Williams in the chat says Q Smith is an amazing dancer with a beautiful voice. Been on Broadway for a long time. Is that who you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, see, look at you got the fans of the family in here already too. That's what's up.
Man, hey.
Yep, yep. Anthony Rogers writes his sister Queen Simpson, aka SOS, SQS. I'm sorry. She was amazing. So fun to interview. Yeah,
Oh
man.
yeah, yeah.
She's a wealth. She's a wealth of knowledge and
Man.
and yeah, that's what's up. Appreciate
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, man, yeah. Used to get down on Doug and Mika show back in
Yeah,
mine and soul days.
yeah, that was one of the first shows we put together. We helped put together for Mind and Soul, man, and put them on the air. Uh, the Doug and Mika show was a trip. Uh,
Man,
we did not know it was gonna work. We were like, okay, it's okay.
man, man, actually, when I think about it, Mika has really, even before brother Hassani Lee, like Mika has really been leading the charge in the conversation on in my radar about the housing fight. That was kind of some of the big conversations that they would have on Doug and Mika. Of course, Doug being a member of the Tenants United
Mhm.
organization, and then
One of the
Mika,
founders.
yeah, yeah, still going, and Mika sharing her story about apartment complex and some run-ins that she's had with property managers and just man, living situations not being right from the management perspective, and really pushing this whole fight for housing, and of course what she's done for Undesigned the Red Line, man. So big shout out to Sister Mika, and now what she's doing with the felon voting rights situation. Yeah,
Big time.
yeah. She's leading the charge. Again, a shout out to everybody who came out and supported her for the Hands Off Our Votes event that went down. And speaking of the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation, also at the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation over the weekend, and just kind of reminding people that actually today the Nebraska Supreme Court will hear arguments in that case to determine if people convicted of felonies will lose their right to vote for life unless granted clemency, or if the law that Senator Wayne was able to get past stands. So
Wow.
it's going down today. If you can make it down to Lincoln for that public hearing, would definitely urge you to do so. But if not, definitely, just keep your eyes open. And again, shout out to Sister Mika for leading that charge and getting the community involved with that.
Most def. Appreciate you guys. It's at 8:32 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, this is the discussion portion of the show. So we appreciate everybody's comments. We'll definitely jump into some other stuff that we can that we got on the radar. We can talk about. Love to hear your viewpoints on as well. And so yeah, very excited about the conversation to come in the chat. Real quick, Mr. Anthony Rogers Wright says the event was great. Y'all, they needed some loot. Get a bus to Lincoln. We raised it right there at Malcolm X on the spot on that mutual aid tip. That's how it happened, y'all. Man,
Beautiful, beautiful,
that's what I want to hear. I appreciate that
man.
report from that. We were wondering about how that meeting went. So
Yeah,
that's what's
yeah.
up.
And also now to learn that they're gonna be hopping on a bus and rolling down there, man. That's what it takes. That's what it
Straight up.
takes. So again, big shout out to everybody who stepped up and pulled out the pocket for that one. That's what it's about.
That's what's up. Mama Guy said Doug and Mika show was my second favorite show on Mind and Soul. I was so awed that I know them now, all behind being a part of First Sky. I love it. That's what's up.
Man, yeah. I mean, that's what we try to do, moms. Bring community together and each one teach one. So yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, and big shout out to Doug and Mika, man.
Most deaf. Buddy, what's on the next in the agenda?
Man, it's actually several stories that we can still dive into. I guess while we're kind of talking about, housing and some of the things that Doug and Mika were talking about with Tenants United, there is a story talking about Omaha Housing Authority, OHA, again, still in the news, still in headlines, still on the radar. And this is on the heels in the wake of LB 840, which requires OHA and other housing authorities to increase the representation of its residents on the agency's governing board. Again, residents not really having much say or much representation on who makes decisions about their living conditions.
All right.
This is a bill that was presented by State Senator Terrell McKinney put some respect on his name in tandem with hundreds of OHA residents. They all pressed for the provisions regarding urban housing agencies, of course, amid the whole Fight the Towers campaign that's been going on. Of course, OHA and Omaha Mayor Gene Stothard, who again appoints the authority board for OHA, must add two more residents to one already required on its board. That will increase the size of the board from 7 to 9 members. That provision, along with others regarding OHA, will actually took effect in July, so it's already in effect. So big shout out to Senator Terrell McKinney applying some pressure on OHA, and again, a lot of those things are already coming into fruition. Another big change is how residents can complain, which has been kind of central to this whole situation, as far as residents complaining, filling out work orders, and those work orders falling on deaf ears, acting like they've been lost or just not found at all. Joni Poor says, who is again CEO of OHA, she says, we are considering software options to ensure full compliance with the federal regulations governing our organization, as well as the arbitrary process outlined in LB 840. Additional software includes additional costs. OHA is subject to procurement regulations, and we will follow those regulations when considering software solutions for the complaint portion of LB 840, which is yet another thing we should look out for, because they're talking about software, and we already know they got computers that don't even work in the lobby. So what computers they going to use to get on this software? You tell me. So yeah, there you go.
Library. Heather Williams in the chat said OHA sent out applications to residents this week for the board.
There you go.
So
Thank you.
yeah, evidence of that. Good thing. We'll see what comes of it though. Yeah.
Yeah. How you feeling about that? You high on that? You think?
I mean, I think it's probably a gesture. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
I'm not saying an empty one, but I'm saying they could do more. They could be doing more. You know, they don't. There's already tenants and there's already people in the community that don't need to be on a committee or a board to tell them what the problems are,
Right.
and
Right.
and to say, hey, maybe we need to do something about these problems. So
That
there
part.
you go.
That part.
Yeah. Yeah. What say you? I put it to the chat. What say you on that?
Yeah.
Bon Chapman says OHA is the slum landlord.
Pretty much.
Um, yeah. So yeah, the little different situation though, because they got some regulation over them. They're not private owners in that way.
Mhm.
There is some things that can happen with local government with local authorities that can apply some pressure. Is the pressure getting applied? We've
We'll
been
see.
getting wind from this story from Brother Hassani Lee and other people that it seems like it goes up a little further up the ladder. The reason why stuff keeps getting passed over and nobody getting disciplined for it. So there you go. That's
Yeah.
that's kind of what I was feeling. Von Chapman. He said a little too little, too late.
Yeah. Pretty much. I mean, they've already, the fight is on now. The fight is on. And speaking of that, again, we are raising funds because those court cases, they're still going on, and things are still happening with the Lee family. And again, public housing Fight the Tower shirts are available. I see you, Miss Erica Felt. She says in the chat, "I want my shirt. I felt inappropriately dressed at court." Yeah.
Or
Again, if you're
uniform right there.
yeah, man. If you're gonna support, if you're gonna step out and support and join the fight of Paul Philman and brother Sherman Wells, and brother Hassani Lee, sister Cheryl Weston, yeah, that might be a shirt for you. So definitely check that out and tap in with us for that. And yeah, might have to have brother Hassani Lee on very soon, because as I mentioned, he still is in court, even though he has moved out. Him and his father and his wife, they have moved out of the OHA towers, but still continuing in court with the fight with OHA. So again, we'd definitely love to get an update on that situation.
Yeah, he's got a court date coming up for sure. Before we go any further, we kind of mentioned this at the top of the hour during the community situations, but we do want to reiterate that there is a missing person, older,
Yes.
excuse me, older adult at risk, endangered. Robert Leon Jimerson, his last seen Friday, August 23rd, 2024, around 1 p.m. Near Solar between 24th and Florence Boulevard. Suffers from signs of Alzheimer's. We've been here before on this. May
Yeah.
be unaware of surroundings and without medication. So if anybody has seen him, float this picture around 911. Even Channel 7, I believe, picked this up. People are really searching right now, and this has been all over the place. And Friends of First Sky Omaha was when it came to my attention. After that, I saw some the news outlets reporting this as well. For any information, you can call 980-309-6822. Or yeah, if you've seen him, call 911. And remember, he's at, he might have some situation, he might have some stuff where he doesn't really understand what's going on. You might have to be very very delicate, very careful with him if you see him around, if he's just in that situation. So watch out when you're thinking about calling 911 on that, because you know what happens
Man,
sometimes when police officers don't understand what's going on with a person's mental situation. So, yeah, just asking the community to definitely seek this person out. Also, there was a young man out of
yeah,
Lincoln.
yep.
Didn't get much more information on this, but
I have
uh,
it. I have it right here.
uh, okay, yeah, me too. I was gonna say,
Oh, okay, okay.
yeah, no, go ahead, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, because I don't know where I got mine from somebody's comment. So go ahead if you got a
No,
more
I'm
information.
looking at a Facebook post. This is on
Mhm.
Friends of First Sky Omaha. This is out of Lincoln. He says, "Hey friends, we have a young man missing from Lincoln. His name is Conrad. He is 14 years old, about 5 foot tall, 90 to 100 pounds, with brown hair and light brown eyes. He has was last seen wearing a black shirt, gray shorts, black shoes, and socks. He was also wearing a black Nike brand fanny pack with a ski mask seen in the picture. He left on Friday, 8:23 after school to play basketball and never made it back home. He was last seen getting into a vehicle with an adult male and some girls. If you've seen Conrad, please call 531-510-8736. Again, that's 531-510-8736, or contact Tip Iron Horse on Facebook for more information. Again, that's Tip Iron Horse on Facebook if you have more information.
There you go. So we'll keep on posting those on Friends of First Sky. Thanks for everybody who's posted them already. On Friends of First Sky Omaha, we'll keep on talking about it on the show. Try to keep our eye out for
Mhm.
folks, for sure. So we appreciate that very much. And yeah, just keep your eyes open for we're always gonna have to be the ones that are pushing to go find the missing people in our community.
Yeah, man.
And it sounds like the news is on it. Mr. Rockefeller says while news is bragging that their visibility brought the woman home in hours, we need to get this man visible ourselves.
Yep. Yep. I
Interesting. Yeah,
mean, that's again, like you said, Paul. We've been here before. You know. Again, rest in peace, Mr. Levi Blake. And we seen how that situation played out. So, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Definitely. Stay on top of it.
Michael Watts in the chat says just had to connect a tracking device to an older brother because he started to leave his facility. Everybody should invest in one if you have family in service facility. Can never be too safe.
Man,
Very true. Uh,
and that's kind of where my mind is. There's actually a story. Kind of want to reiterate about the retirement home, or I'm not sure if it's a retirement home, but community center, the Heartland Family Center,
mhm.
off of let me just pull it up. But it's closing, and
Right.
just kind of makes me think of what do in our community. Where do we have our elderly, brothers and sisters? Where can they go? What options are there for them after retirement when they get in their elder years, in the twilight years? What is there for them? I do remember trying to help at the time. My wife's grandmother find housing, and she was only making like 500 a month in her retirement social security check. And 500 a month, we all know it's hard to find housing, even 55 plus housing with that. A lot of the housing areas that I found options for elderly men and women, even not assistant, just alone living, 500, 800 plus people who are bringing in 500 a month on social security. That doesn't leave them many options and much room.
Yeah.
So just kind of a larger thought of what is there? What for those of you who have aging parents, what do you do?
Very true, man. Shout out to Sherman Wells who had that his live go on last night,
Hmm.
where he talked to some of those elderly brothers and sisters out at that facility.
Yep.
It was kind of heavy, man, just to hear about, like they're like, hey, I want to be able to do something. I want to be able to leave my house. I need to get outside. Like it's really hurt. It's boring. They were really kind of just like, what do we got to do something. The whole gist of that meeting was we got to do something. Now
Hmm.
we got to step up and try to pay some things. So shout out to Sherman Wells who sat down, actually talked with several members of that community, that we're able to express, what this means. And it really brings up the question, like, what are we doing? We don't, like you said the other day, we don't really talk too much about what's going on with our elderly brothers and sisters, but we need to talk more about it. And now that this is in the news heavy, and Brother Sherman Wells is really kind of focused in, it might be something to really kind of to check out. Anthony Rogers Wright is co-signing on Michael Watt's idea. I was just thinking about, like, you got those Apple tabs and some things that you can discreetly track people with, and
Oh
stuff like
yeah.
that. It might be the thing to do, especially if they're at risk and they're in homes and you're not able to be with them constantly. We got too much really really inexpensive technology now to not be able to help track, and that might be something to definitely look into. So appreciate that very much. And the bigger, like I said, the bigger idea here is what happens with our families, and
Mhm.
especially in the Black community. We usually are living together and taking care of our elderly. But sometimes they got to go to facilities. Sometimes that's just what has to happen. And what kind of facilities do we have? And this is before they even, maybe even before they need to go to a facility. This facility here, a lot of these elderly people in this that Sherman was talking to
At
yesterday was
home.
just saying, yeah, this place to hang out and see your friends, and keep on living a life. So
Yeah,
even
that
even
part.
yeah, even before you get to a situation where you need 24-hour care or anything else, yeah, you need some place to go, something to do. So there it is. Mama God said, if you see him, you need to call 911. Make sure you say on record with the operator that he may present with mental or medical concerns. Learn from Sonia Massey murder. Yeah, that's what I'm
Mm.
saying. Like, you got to be careful when you call 911 on that. If the cop gets there and doesn't realize that something's going on with somebody's mental capacity, then all of a sudden they fearing for their life, and somebody ends up getting killed. So if you see them, you want to call 911. Cool. Again, they provided another number. If you have any information, 980-309-6822. You might want to try calling that too. But yeah, just be careful. And I like what Mama
Mm.
God is suggesting here as well. Let him know on the phone, if you call 911, he may present with mental or medical concerns. So yeah, good thing to mention.
Actually,
8:47 right now.
actually, it
Let me
reminds
go
me of
ahead.
another story.
Mhm.
Just saying, it reminds me of another story that's kind of lagging. So let me know. Reminds me of another
You're
story that's
lagging.
in the news that's kind of dealing with that. Okay, dealing with that very thing, not necessarily 911, but 988, which is a national number that has come out to deal with mental health crisis, and it's about this is a story coming out of WOWT. I know. Don't shoot the messenger, but definitely got to talk about this story again. 988 is launched
Sherman gonna
about
be
two
mad
years
at us if we
ago.
keep on throwing
Yeah, yeah,
WWT.
Sherman. Hey. But again, 988 launched 2 years ago, and it is again a nationally recognized number to call for mental health support. So again, if you don't want to call 911 and you find yourselves in those types of situations where you're having to help somebody who's dealing with a mental health crisis, 988 could be an alternative. Again, since the launch of 988 in 2022, DHHS in Nebraska has seen an increase in calls, texts, and chat messaging. For example, in 2023, about 18,000 folks made the call to the local 988 system, and that has gone up actually in 2024 to about 22,500. DHHS contracts through Boys Town, who already had their own 24/7 crisis call center before 988 was launched. Though numbers like this are staggering, DHHS sees it as more of a positive, directly proving how people are reaching out for help when they need it. Uh, in that time, DHHS has gathered some data. The highest group of users are between ages 30 and 39, quite interestingly. 53% of those who call that number are also identified as female. So, again, there that is a resource, an alternative. If you're not comfortable calling 911, definitely we're dealing with somebody who, oh, okay. Definitely dealing with somebody who has a mental health crisis. Again, 988, a new hotline number that has been out for a couple years, and it looks like people are using it. So again, hopefully that is a resource that can help in the future.
Most def. Appreciate that very much. So yeah, we'll definitely that might be a thought too, even in this case as well, especially since they're saying that this person might be at risk as far as his mental capacity is concerned. That maybe we should use that number instead of 911. So yeah, this is something to consider. Something to consider.
988, y'all remember that.
988. Anybody use 988? Anybody able to call that and use that quite yet?
Yeah.
Love to hear about it.
Definitely love to hear. Yeah, get a first hand count on just how they respond. What's that process? What do they send you? Is it a person? Is it a machine? Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely love to.
That's what my mama got is saying. Honestly, in the crunch of a serious situation, having an alternate number may help people who are apprehensive about 911. I know I am. I'm definitely
Yeah, I
apprehensive about
mean, especially
911.
in mental health situations, it can save a life.
Yep. And Ms. Hickerfeld is reminding us the flyer has the family's number on it. That's the number that they said that for any information, call 980-309-6822. That's where I would actually call first if I happen to see him. I'll probably call that number first before 911. Because give the family a chance to come in and
Hmm.
and get him before the cops have to be involved at all. So,
Man,
but this
definitely.
is their flyer. They did put call 911. So, like I said, this is that's an alternative too. But I'm glad we got a couple other alternatives. The family's number, 988. A couple other things to do. So appreciate that very much.
Big time.
Just
Big time.
moving on from that, Anthony Rogers Wright is asking Paul and Buddy, are you all going to be or interested in holding candidate forums or assisting with a North O's People Assembly? Was speaking with Miss Cheryl and Get It Marcy Yates, and they're into the idea too. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely would like to be involved in a candidate forum some kind of way. I don't know if we have the
Mhm.
capacity to be able to help put those on, but we can be involved in some kind of way. And yeah, I think it's very important. We're definitely doing our part to try to bring on candidates so we can have a conversation with them and talk to them a little bit more about some things. So also, if there's other candidates that you want to hear from, definitely put that in the chat or send
Yeah,
it over to
let
friends of
us know.
First Guy Omaha or email us, firstguyomaha@gmail.com. Let us know what candidates you want to hear from. We got some lined up here coming up, and we're definitely have some other folks on, like, of course, Ashley Spivey is going to be back pretty heavy this next month, and brother Terrell McKinney, of course, as well. Got calls out to some other folks that I'm not going to mention now because we're not confirmed yet. But if anybody is out there that you would like to hear from and talk to in the way that we have conversations and interviews, definitely let us know. We'll try to squeeze them in as well. And yeah, let us know about what you guys do with the forum here. We'll definitely do our best to be a part of it.
Big time. Big time.
Yep. It's coming up on the 9 o'clock hour, 8:52 already. If you believe in the concept of time, we appreciate everybody that stuck with us through this conversation. And I was trying to think if there's anything that was on top of mind that I was thinking of. I really appreciate Anjali for putting in for
Yeah.
bringing up the situation about this gas station, and just it feels like somebody's taking some action on. We don't have to just put up with what's going on here around us all the time. So we can do something. There's something else we can do. Something else we
Time
can do.
time for some action.
It's time for some action for real. Ashley, speaking of action, speaking of people this acting every day.
Man.
Ashley's going out door knocking and stuff on a daily basis, bro. Mark your calendar, September 9th. This is going to be a pretty huge situation here to be able to meet and greet, meet her. There's going to be some heads there. This is hosted by Katie Whites. It's going to be at Cumbia, 329 South 16th Street, a meet and greet fundraiser for Ashley. This is a good place to really kind of talk to her, but also to talk to some folks that support her and that are doing big things in the community, including Katie White's. Like her whole thing right now is advocating. She's like out
Mm.
here
I like that.
yeah, that's her new
Advocating.
email address, katie@advocating.com. Like, she's out here advocating for folks in a big way. Also, I forgot to pull the clip, but did you guys see Preston Love at the DNC?
Nah.
Bro, I gotta find the clip. Let me go ahead and get to talk about something real quick while I find it.
Okay.
'Cause this thing is hilarious, man.
All
Like,
right,
Preston Love
man.
is something else, man.
All right, man. So yeah, while he looks for that, man. So what I am thinking about is as we kind of end this episode, if there's any haps coming up this weekend, definitely feel free to drop
Yeah,
those into the chat. We usually have haps on Friday, and of course, we've been incorporating some haps. A couple of events on our weekly rap newsletter. But again, if you have anything going down the remainder of this week, feel free to drop that into the chat. Something to look out for. Kind of reiterating that again, speaking of what Anjali is talking about, the whole conversation about the gas station situation. Again, there will be a live conversation tomorrow at 6 p.m. live streamed, I believe, on Brother Sherman Wells's page and the Untamed page. So tap in with Untamed. Big shout out to Brother Sherman Wells, always getting down, doing the dirty work. But the work that needs to be done, man. So yeah, definitely tap in with that conversation because this is something that probably again won't make major headline CBS ABC affiliate news, but it's definitely news in our communities and a conversation that we should be having in our community about businesses that might not be all for the community, just taking our money, man. So yeah, we can't have that. Can't have
yeah,
that. So
definitely.
again, tomorrow is going down at 6 p.m. live stream on Brother Sherman Wells's page, and then also today reminding folks that at the Supreme Court, if you can make it down to Lincoln, the Supreme Court will be having a hearing on whether or not brothers and sisters who are formerly incarcerated will have the right to vote once they serve their time. Again, the law stands right now that they should be able to vote, and this is going to make a big impact ahead of November's election. So again, we need as many people as we can to let them know, hands off our votes. Big shout out again to Sister Mika and all the brothers and sisters who are leading the charge and trying to make sure that again our formerly incarcerated brothers and sisters can make their way back into society and
Yeah.
pursue that American dream.
And also, I've been seeing a lot of messages out there that's saying, make sure that your license is up to date. You don't want to be disqualified because your license is not. Remember, you got to show your license now to vote. So this is
True.
the time to make sure that everything is straight with your license before the day, way before the day, because you know how slow the DMV be moving. So definitely check that out. I've been hearing that a lot too. So just want to share that word. I also want to share this little clip. Let me see if I can play this thing real quick, man. Let me see if I got any sound coming out. Any sound happening?
Yeah, it's muted right there.
I want to try to start from the beginning because this is pretty hilarious. Let's see if I can get him.
And little Pete Ricketts. See my hair? You know, they're working as a team to take us backwards. You do know that little Pete Ricketts was afraid to debate me. You know why? Because if I debate him, I'd beat him up so bad he'd be poor. How dare you insult the people? They want to know and have and understand the contrast between sense and nonsense.
There you go. Shout out to Brother Preston Love.
Shout out to Brother Preston Love out there making it happen. Yeah, man. There's times that he does stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, he's meant for this in a big way.
Mr. felt Caillou.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely a trip. But yeah, I just wanted to share that. I thought that was very humorous. Omaha was really representing the DNC in a big way, bro. So, yeah, it's interesting. We're definitely working on having Miss Precious McKesson back on too to talk about the progress and things going on there. As far as Hap's concerned, Marlon Harrison says I got my ticket for Afrofest this weekend.
Hey,
Definitely gonna look at Afrofest.
man, that's this weekend already.
This weekend already, man. He says this will be my first time going. If you don't see me on Monday's show, that means I've been partying too much. Brother, let me tell you something. You're gonna be in a food coma.
Man, that's first thing coming to mind, man. Get you some jollof rice, man.
Oh
get
my
right.
God.
Get right. Yeah.
The food is
Get
so
right.
good at Afrofest, it don't make no sense, bro. By
Man.
the time you get dancing to all the Afro beat that's out there and eating, you worn out by next day. Trust us on that. Mama Guy says, "Miss the meeting info. First guy, please reach out to Brother Wells to involve our neighborhood association." Okay.
Yes, yes. Further down, Mama God actually talked about that gas station being in the neighborhood. She says I posted earlier about that gas station. It is in my neighborhood, and I'm going to reach out to my neighborhood association to get involved. And that's what it's about. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, with that. Man, it's 9 o'clock right now. If you're leaving the concept of time, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. Why was that embarrassing? Yeah, let us know how you feel about that for sure. Also, Anthony Rogers Wright is saying something there too. He says, "I don't know, y'all. If a white candidate said that they were going to beat up a black candidate, would be cool with that." I don't know if I can compare the two, bro. He
Yeah.
says, "No way, Ricketts is going to debate him. There's no point for him. Let's figure out how we can actually use the campaign for something other than the win that's elusive." I see his strategy. He's got to do something to call him out. He's got to do something outrageous to get him to, because they're right. Like, it wouldn't, Pete Ricketts is probably not trying to debate him. Probably doesn't think he has anything to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to say, you might have to speak up. You might have to. What did Kendrick say?
Now pop out and show him.
Just saying. See my hair? Come on, Preston. We're gonna get out of here. Appreciate everybody that joined us today, buddy. You got some words for the people?
Yeah, man. Big shout out to Chris Baby Boy Bowling for coming through and speaking with us. Please, if you haven't done so, go and read that article on Flatwater Free Press. If anything, learn about Brother Malcolm, but more so learn about Sister Rowena Moore, man. We do not know enough about that powerful sister who came out of our community and has such a huge impact. And a big shout out to Chris Baby Boy Bowling for telling that story that needs to be told, man. So yeah, definitely shout out to him, and shout out to you, all of you, for again joining the conversation, letting your mind be free, letting your voice be heard. We appreciate the chat chimers as always. Thank you. This is a community conversation. Again, we hope that we all walk away from this conversation more informed, more inspired, more confident, to make our communities a better place. But again, this is a conversation nonetheless. So again, we thank you for joining us in that conversation, and thank you for also subscribing. Those of you who have done so to the weekly rap newsletter, because that is where we continue the conversation and also again give you some extra news. So again, we appreciate you. We thank you. Check us out. Weekly rap coming out every Friday. In the meantime, between time, catch the same time, same place, right here on First Guy Omaha in the morning every Monday and Wednesday. In the meantime, between time, Paul B.
Yo.
Take it away, man.
I just put that link for the weekly wrap in the chat. Go ahead and click that. Enter your email address so you can start getting that newsletter. And please get on the survey that's on there too. We really want to hear from you about some of what kind of news, what kind of things you're interested in. We're always going to have some surveys on there for feedback. That's one way that we can continue the conversation that we do live. Even though we're sending out a newsletter, you can always send comments back to the newsletter, through the newsletter, and through the surveys that we put there too, so we can keep some dialogue happening. So we appreciate that very much. We appreciate you very much. Pops in the chat says, another awesome show and great First Sky week. Thank you, and see you all on Monday. Appreciate it very much. We definitely have a special guest. I believe Queen Shamika is going to be on Monday. Hey. And also the senators, Terrell McKinney and Justin Wayne, will be on there too for some updates. So thanks to everybody who say again.
Put some respect on their names.
Put some respect on all their names for sure.
Yes.
And more special guests coming up on Wednesday too. We definitely have some people that we're bringing in. Like I said, this is the election season. We got to get to know some of these folks, and we also got to get to continue on the conversations with community members, business owners, other people who are really trying to do something for us in our neighborhoods as well. And I just really appreciate everybody who's joined us and who's already putting in suggestions on who it is they want to hear from. We're working on those senators that you mentioned as well, other senators to bring on to talk about some things too. So we'll continue to do that. Miss Erica Fell says, be good to yourselves, get squished, drink water, speak out. I'll let you put your own interpretation of getting squished. Appreciate y'all. And we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Thanks to the Omaha Tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. Shout out to our elders allowing us to speak before you. And shout out to you, the chat chimers, allowing us to speak with you. Thank you for everything that you contribute to the conversation. Please continue to contribute to the conversation over on Friends of First Sky Omaha on the Facebook group page. That's where the conversation goes when we're not live. And also sign up to the newsletter. We can have more dialogue there as well. You can always hit us up at firstsky.omaha@gmail.com. And we appreciate you. Appreciate everybody who's done that already. Let us know that they're trying to get down with what it is we're trying to do, and also all the reoccurring memberships as well. The $10 people, $25 people, $50 people. Can't do this without your donations. We really appreciate all the new members, all the people that have kind of stepped up and want to see us continue to do what we're doing. It tells us that you find value in what we're doing, and that is the way that we would want this thing to be funded by the people, for the people, we the people.
Man. Oh, okay.
Got you. Breast cancer. Yep. Get the mammogram. Get checked for sure.
Man. Men and women. I've lost a male cousin to breast cancer. So hey, get checked.
Yeah, most definitely. Appreciate you guys very much. We will definitely catch you on Monday. So take care of yourselves. Stay cool. Supposed to be a little warm this weekend, but thunderstorms coming tomorrow. So watch out for that. Roll your windows up, all that good stuff, and we'll see you on Monday.
Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious, this is protected by the red, the black, and the green